One more map is all it's going to take for Messiah University to make it into the playoffs for the Eastern A side of Division 3. Here for the Marvel Rivals Collegiate on NECC. I'm Bottle. We got Shivy here, and we got a little bit of some interesting background for these teams. They're both 3-3, but they had a much different journey, Shivy, to get here. So Messiah, they got a forfeit win against WAI Crimson, a forfeit win against Violet Legion. So technically they've only gotten one true victory up to this point, and that was against Pace Solar Gold, which was 3-1. There are other losses. They got 3-0'd by MSU Red and went to 5 against Loyola Esports Green. So seeing the way that they're being so effective here against their opponents in Stevenson University, who went to 5 against multiple different teams like Pace Solar that we saw there. They went to 5 against Loyola themselves and lost that series. And then were able to take MSU Red, who was the team who beat Messiah in a 3-0. So it really just goes to show, like, every week can be different for these squads, and there's potential for a comeback if Stevenson University lock in.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they need to do, right? I don't think it's any simpler than that. Kind of just lock in, remember your training, who you are, right? Obviously, you're a team that can definitely play Marvel Rivals. You're a very good team. It's tough, especially because, like you said, any given day, any sort of match, that's kind of the nature of these series and these games, and you kind of just got to show up when it counts. And right now, Messiah is definitely showing up when it counts. Specifically, the tank line that you mentioned, the Vanguards, both Scattered and Big E.T. Thanos, have been putting on a fantastic performance in their respective game wins, right? On Domination, Scattered ended up getting the MVP. He was on the Venom, and Big E.T. Thanos on the Emma Frost got the MVP there. Absolutely like bonkers numbers, right? Just coming in from that Emma Frost. 17 final hits, 43,000 damage blocked, 42 damage done. I mean that's superstar numbers there. But we are going to move on to our pure payload map, Convoy specifically, and I feel like there's less of an opportunity to kind of full hold on these payload maps. It's really hard to kind of stop them around the first corner. Most of the time, most teams are getting that first point, that they're finding the stall later on. It's when the ultimate usage becomes very, very important in terms of resources and what you use. Because of how momentum-based Convoy can be, if you don't set your foot in the sand and actually say, hey, we only are going to use these couple ultimates, then you can just get snowballed on so quickly. And the map that we see it happen all the time, Vaudable, Yggdrasil Path.
Yeah, we do see that happen so often with not timing the ultimates correctly and getting staggered in odd positions when you're trying to build it and have a cohesive team fight against the other squad. And we saw those difficulties in the previous 2 maps from this side of Stevenson University, and they got a little bit better. But it was also kind of due to Pinkie Pie just popping off with the Galactic Legend, right? We saw them get that Penta. We saw them just go with the Jewel on Lil Jim as best as possible. And keeping that Psylocke man makes a lot of sense, especially on this map. Very effective on Yggdrasil Path. And again, best duelist, on the game so far. We'll probably see similar bans on the other side of things too for the Hela, because they just do not want Pinkie Pie to have it. They are a hit scan demon, as you can tell, for that. So they want to get it out of the equation every time. They're probably going to save the Venom again, because that's what they've been doing every single time for Messiah Esports. I'd be very surprised if they don't. But again, Scattered, I mean, we saw them on some other things, and yeah, the Galactic Legend was very effective for Lil Jim. They might have expected a ban out on that side. The Emma, I think, was more effective for Messiah Esports. Like, yeah, you don't want to have to worry too much if you're Stevenson, and you did decent on the Emma, but we saw how Big E.T. Thanos was on the Emma before. I don't know why you would leave that up for them.
Maybe they plan on banning away the Mantis here, but instead they're going to remove the Winter Soldier. And for Messiah, I don't think they really have to change their pick ban too much, right?
Not
they
at
saved
all.
the Star-Lord for themselves. They're not worried really about Pinkie Pie in my mind, specifically because even when he did have that hero performance on the Star-Lord, it actually just wasn't enough. They are going to remove that Adam Warlock, which... They
don't want to worry about it.
Yeah, even if the Karmic Retributions were bad in the game 2 from Stevenson, that's not going to happen consistently. You can't bank on a player whiffing multiple times, right? So I love the fact that they're removing the Karmic Retribution. I do love that they're saving the Captain America here. Mind you, they've been the team that's been saving the Venom as well. So if I'm Stevenson, I'm banning one of these two away. Like, I'm taking Venom off the board here, so that I don't have to deal with it, especially from Acclamation, especially from Scattered, who is having just a fantastic performance on it.
Yeah, they're doing amazing on it so far. Luna Snow, I don't think we would have necessarily expected a ban out from that, but hey, they're going to be able to lock it down either way. The Rocket, they don't want to worry about any sort of resurrection from the beacon that brings them back. So on the other side of things too, instead of banning the Venom, that's going to be available for that team, or not team up, but the duo that you typically see there. We did see a little bit of that before, but again, it's just such an odd strategist in this meta to the ban here. So I don't know. The Ultron has been effective in the past. They got nerfed like crazy in season 4.5, so we haven't seen them do as much. We did see a little bit of the Iron Man and the Ultron from Stevenson, and they did okay, but I don't think that's enough to warrant a ban specifically. I think they were just kind of doing that to get it off the table so that they at least have one more strategist that they don't have to worry about.
Yeah, and we're going to see maybe a different look coming out. Pinkie Pie does play a little bit of Thor, although I'll wait. I'm going to see what we're actually going to see, as Messiah Esports is going to be on the defending side here, is what it looks like, and the attacking side is going to be Stevenson.
Full dive.
Yeah, logos are swapped here, but Scattered. I talked about this, right? I said Stevenson should probably ban away the Venom, because when you save the Captain America, you're opening yourself up for a lot of pain here. Now, Acclamation is going to be busting out something that we saw a ton of in Atlanta. Vaudable, you can speak to this a lot more because you were there live. What's your thoughts on Angela now that we've seen her out a little bit?
Oh man, she's so good. I mean, Angela is just a nuisance, especially like really effective if you go towards the Vanguard, if you go towards the back line, you spear them towards your own side so that they can focus on them. Kind of similar to just a flying Wolverine is what a lot of people like to talk about, the similarities there as well. So we'll see how effective they can be. They do get targeted pretty easily, so a lot of it comes down to your positioning, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Send them towards the back line, back to the ground, thinking they can take them out that way, but again, it's going to rely a lot on your strategist keeping you in the fight and looking towards the air, which is a tough thing to do for a lot of teams, especially when they have to prioritize some of their other team members that are still in the fight.
Yeah, this is a really, common comp that we'll see when you run Angela. You essentially play Thor, for the team up, but also just as a fat duelist is the way I would like to call him,
basically.
Right? He's just a really chunky duelist that essentially can go into your back line, get support from something like the Star-Lord, although this time Pinkie Pie does go down. They do trade Biggie T Thanos, who is swapped over to that Doctor Strange so they can teleport back in here from Messiah Esports. And right now they've been doing a pretty good job of holding Stevenson back. We haven't seen too much value out of the Angela in terms of, shoving a tank into your team and then getting the kill. As I say that, Gotosi does go down, teleport does come in. It looks like Little Jim on this Magic should be able to get some work done once that Dark Tile does get stacked. There's one down, though. Stevenson University. Angela's down. Here comes the Thor ultimate. And it's going to slam down onto the Magic. And a nice eat from Sizzy once again. You just have to spit him out here. You don't actually have to go off the map, right?
Oh, okay. I thought they missed for a second there. I was a little worried, but it did have it bounce into the abyss. So Sizzy's been pretty consistent with those eats, but now the Galactic Legend does come through, getting one pick, looking for the second. It's going to be easy enough, at least, to finish one off. The extra heals did keep them alive a little bit longer. KOs come through. The Jeff trying to stay alive onto the point for the side of Messiah Esports, just to delay the advancement of Stevenson University as long as possible. With Sizzy feeling a little bit more confident on the Jeff, the rest of the team for Stevenson University with this composition looking a lot better too. So seeing the save of the Emma actually benefiting them a lot more than it did before. So Show doing some good work. Holding onto their ultimates is also massive. We only really saw one or two ultimates getting burned out from Stevenson University. See a couple here. Galactic Legend the other direction, but they're actually being countered out by the Psionic Seduction. That's a good way to take them out of the skies.
Yeah, I love that, because it kind of forces them to either run away or you do get seduced, as we'd like to say here. Stevenson University looking like a different team right now, holding through that first point and slowly but surely bending or turning the corner here on the second one. Biggie T Thanos, Eye of Agamotto available, gets quickly countered by the Eternal Bond. Yes, it does land, and we do see Little Jim on the Moon Knight drop the hand to Khonshu, gets one member, but I don't know if that's going to completely stop Stevenson's momentum. as we do see the Angela ultimate, sorry, coming in here onto multiple members, slicing and dicing, cutting through them like a hot knife through butter. Can Acclamation actually be stopped? 11 HP doesn't go down.
No. Oh, you can't afford for that to happen. That's such a tough spot to be in. And Scatter, because they do have that dive maneuver now, it might have been a good option to use it and just chase them down. Yes, they wanted to stay alive a little bit, hold on to the clobbering time as best as possible, and they use that to fruition, but they're going to have to use the anti-street charge to try and at least get in the way, do some extra damage. It's Jeff comes through again, though, from Sizzy, and they do get one, but it's only going to be scattered, so they have to go the distance. They won't even be able to take them off the map. They're too heavy to take them the distance. The anti-street charge comes out again. They're just so annoying to deal with as the thing, and I get the reasoning for changing to it. Did help a little bit to delay some extra time towards that second checkpoint, but Stevenson University, this is the best look we've seen from them so far on a convoy-based game mode.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Thing isn't as big of a counter into Angela as you'd hope. Even if you do get that punch onto them, they don't get grounded.
Fly away.
Yeah, it's you would think conventionally, oh, Thing is anti-flyer, you can punch him down. No, Angela just, quietly flies away there. Something like a Winter Soldier or a Namor Hela, that's much more helpful in dealing with Acclamation on this Angela, who honestly has not really gone down too much and has been just a pain in the butt for Messiah Esports. As we do see the Invisible Woman coming in here, and Moon Knight does drop the hand of Khonshu on top of Scattered, who's just right-clicking away at the moment. Yeah, it's not an anti-flyer thing, but it is a dive thing here. And getting back onto that backline, who's relatively immobile, right? Jeff, when he gets hit by the ancestry charge, actually has to worry about getting killed there because of the slow and because of the grounding effect. Though Messiah Esports did burn a lot of resources there. Stevenson sitting on quite a pretty penny of ultimates.
Yeah, a lot of ultimates have been used by Stevenson University, and look at how many are in the bank for Messiah Esports. They are ready for it. We're going to have a Jeff NATO locked and ready for them, and here it's going to be coming out in just a moment. The Omega Hurricane does go through, Stock Seduction as well, but actually they're saving the It's Jeff. They don't feel like they necessarily need it at this moment in time, so there's a couple more ultimates available. We do have the clobbering time. Scatter does get stunned, at least for a moment. Galactic Legend available for Snipes. See if they do get the pick, but they're actually going to hold on to it for the next fight. That was an entire wipe and a lot of ultimates available. Messiah Esports just mistimed the way that they used it.
Yeah, I don't like holding on to the Jeff NATO there. That's a pretty much guaranteed team wipe, if not getting them off the map here. Sure, you have clobbering time, sure you have the eat, but Vision can just jump into the sky and pop the legendary and absolutely go down. But it doesn't matter. Pinkie Pie drops the hammer onto Messiah Esports, hits him with the 2-ton Thor hammer. Oh my lord! That's the point. That's guaranteed.
What? That was just a gross mismanagement of ultimates from Messiah Esports. They had so many in the bank, they were hesitant to use them, and that's the first real mistake we've witnessed from them this series. And that's what I was talking about. There is that potential for the comeback here, and we're always fated to go the distance here, Shibby. We're at least guaranteed in overtime if Messiah Esports make it the distance to that third point. But that was a lot of time left on the clock for Stevenson University. I love this composition from them, but it's going to be a little bit different on defense because it's not as effective on that side of things.
Yeah, and you just see Pinkie Pie specifically 8 and 2 on the Thor, but I feel like every single ultimate was impactful there. As we will get player names loaded up soon. I know we see players 1
Interesting.
through 10. Maybe a bit of a spectator bug. But regardless, Messiah Esports looking good at the moment. And they're going to actually swap over to what is going to be the Groot here. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen this bug personally, so we'll see what they can do if there is a way to fix it. But again, that's just how it goes with games. Sometimes they glitch out a little bit, so we might figure out exactly if it is a keybind that hid the names or what have you. But we'll just mention them by their specific roles and heroes that they're playing for now while we get that sorted in the background. But either way, seeing Messiah Esports and the way that they are going about things, they have a long journey forward for them to try and take down Stevenson University. Again, they have to get all the way to that third checkpoint, and they need a lot of time to get there themselves. A minute 53 on the clock for Stevenson University. It does bode well for them.
And the scores are flipped right now. It's actually Messiah Esports on the offensive side. They don't have two. They are up 2-0, but they are actually on the offense here. Stevenson University currently on the defense. We'll see. I can kind of tell who is who here. I mean, this is very clearly from Stevenson University side. This is going to be Acclamation on the Venom. I do like how they've opted in for the 3 tanks, 3 support hold here, just to burn as much time as it is from Messiah Esports, who have opted in for probably one of the best counters into triple tank, which is going to be that Moon Knight. And they are going to drop the Hand of Khonshu into the strangling prison for Messiah. That's going to be Little Jim here, as well as Scattered. Yeah, see, I knew it was Acclamation. You take the player names out. I still got it under control here, as Messiah Esports, though, seem to have this offense under control.
That they do. Messiah Esports not having to worry too much about things on offense this go around. They want to make sure that they close things out in a sweep, not even have to worry about game differential tiebreakers to make it into the playoffs. A 3-0 would guarantee them that spot, especially where they are currently positioned. So we do see the portal last ditch effort come through, and still some meterage left available to them. It's Jeff comes through at the end of it, does swallow up the storm. So Toasty is going to find themselves in some hot water, sent off the map just a little bit, and so is, well, we did see a bit of a recovery for a moment, but not for long. Toasty does get set off. Scattered follows through with them. See Snipes trying to see if they can get some good damage with the Dark Magic onto the Emma. It gets 1 KO. Doesn't need really more than that. Almost got the final pick there, but pushing Messiah Esports off the objective and staggering. The Invisible Woman is massive here from Sizzy on Stevenson University, so it does give them a little bit more wiggle room to get back to the objective, hold things down, so Messiah Esports have to waste even more time towards that first objective.
I mean, Sizzy has just been amazing, by the way, right? On the Jeff, even despite the losses, has been getting multiple multi-man eats here. Acclamation, though, is going to look for the dive here. Hand of Khonshu does get used, but Scattered was 4% away from the ultimate. Why not just wait for the combo? He's going to land the Strangling Prison onto multiple members, but it's only going to be a 1-for-1 trade. MP3, she goes down. It's still a 2-for-1. Messiah's in a 5v4 situation, but Vision of Snipes does have the Eye of Agamotto available, but there's not enough healing. The tanks are slowly but surely getting whittled down here, and the payload is also moving. It's going to be at least a guaranteed 0.1 capture. Acclamation feeds himself to the Messiah Wolves.
Massive from Messiah Esports. Keep the momentum going on the offensive side. It took them a little bit of time that they didn't really want to have to worry too much to get to that first checkpoint, but this is the hardest one, getting to checkpoint 2. Especially looking at Stevenson University, they do have a couple ultimates available to them, but actually Vision of Snipes swapping on over to the Punisher. See if they can use that to deal with Toasty once they are in the air, be a little bit of a nuisance to them. Using that judgment. You do see the Hand of Khonshu coming through. It's Jeff making sure they get to that high ground so they don't have to really worry too much about them. Sizzy's been so effective before, but they only get 2. They're hoping for the 3rd, but the diamond form from the Emma makes it difficult. They only get them out of position. They don't even get the picks either. They can't hold on to them as long as they would like to. We do see them make a hurricane this time from a Toasty, and also we do see another ultimate coming through here from Captain excuse me, Eye of Agamotto. Good one there from Acclamation, getting 1 pick. See if they get the second one onto the Emma. The choke slam to the ground, but doesn't matter. They get taken out by the rest of the team from Stevenson University, and the hold continues. 2 minutes remaining.
But a bit of a waste on that final judgment there, coming out from Vision of Snipes. Punisher ultimate not available. I love the instant swap from Scattered as well, but why not just go to Magneto? See if you can actually get the big dunk onto the backline of Stevenson. Instead, Scatter's going to opt in for the Venom. 60% built onto the ultimate. We'll see if this actually ends up working out. Big, like you said, Eye of Agamotto from Acclamation pick up 2 kills to stop the locomotive that was Messiah Esports. And what a nice dive! I mean, just absolutely splitting the difference there, getting in between. Beautiful, beautiful from Scattered there. He's going to have to go down or get out of there, actually. But that turret is going to be a problem at the moment. Is going to dive on to Vision. Pinkie Pie, though. I think I've seen this before. Pops the legendary. Can he get the kill? Yes, gets 1. Captain Pilatro does go down. It's going to put a ton of pressure onto Messiah Esports. Pinkie Pie and the rest of Stevenson University, Vaudable, they have come alive. They have, as you said, locked in, baby.
This is what we were waiting for, and I talked about it based on the records up to this point. Messiah Esports only have one true victory, and we've only saw that be a 3-1 for them, so they need to make sure that they close things out if they want to have that easier path in towards those playoffs and secure their spot, because Stevenson University, they've gone to 5 against a lot of teams. They have some experience there, but somehow it rebuilds there for the Punisher turret. That's some luck, if you have to say so myself, but they do take out Vision of Snipes. That's a good look for Scatter. They do have the Piece of the Abyss available to them. There is some dueling of the ultimates from the Emmas, but the Omega Hurricane comes through from Toasty. It's Jeff on the other side of things. They're trying to see if they can take them out. They do have one of them getting also just eaten up completely, sending them off the map, but Scatter's still going to stay alive. It's not enough. That's been the second time in a row that Sizzy has not been able to finish off their meal when they get the It's Jeff.
Yeah, Sizzy playing with their food. It is overtime situation. Portal is going to come in from Thanos as a last-ditch effort, as well as Captain Balatro. They don't touch!
What?
1, 2, 3.
No one went through the portal in time, and there's a C9 scenario from Messiah Esports. Stevenson University get away with murder at the end of it. That's not how you want to see it go down, especially when Messiah looks so good to get back on the objective. But of course, MVP in Pinkie Pie. And once again, the trend continues here, Shibby, of the saves from one team benefit the other even more so, where we saw the save of the Star-Lord from Messiah Esports. Lil Jim did some great work, but 1711's no 34-4 with 18 final hits. My goodness.
Insane level of gameplay coming out from Stevenson. Vaudable, I don't think we've had a week where we haven't had a C9, by the way, me and you. I think
no, every time we've had one.
When will you guys learn? We're 7 weeks into the game. I'll give this one a little bit of lenience as the portal into the point is a little bit of a tighter schedule. It's not a complete C9, but it is a bit of a whiff here. And Messiah Esports, unfortunately, don't get the clean 3-0. Stevenson keeps their hopes alive, but Vaudable, that does mean we are going to rotate back into domination.
That's
and the
true.
last time that happened, Messiah Esports kind of dominated Stevenson.
Just a little bit. They didn't really give them much of a time of day at that point. Like, looking specifically back at the stats that we saw from that as well, the most amount of deaths that we saw was from Scattered in 4, and they were the MVP with 17 eliminations and 6 final hits, but also 9 assists for their team. So if that's the worst that we saw out of a single player and they had an MVP performance, I am fearful for the side of Stevenson University A. But looking forward to it. If they can pop off the way that they did, lock in like we were saying they need to, and that's exactly what we saw from them, who knows? That could be a different story. I also think the map just didn't work out in their favor. Celestial Husk, not the best for a lot of players, so we might see a Hell's Heaven. We might see Krakoa. Krakoa's a solid one too. There's a little bit more maneuverability on this one as well, so we'll see if that's going to be enough for them. I think it's also going to come down to the bans and protects for these teams. That's been kind of, for the most part, the decider for these teams on, okay, we feel a bit confident with this here. We're going to make sure that they don't have that one available to them. There's been consistent bans on the Psylocke and the Hela. That's probably going to happen again. But in terms of the saves, they didn't need to save on Messiah the Venom, but the Venom wasn't as effective as they wanted it to be because they were getting focused down so much by the damage that was coming out from Pinkie Pie. That seemed to be a difference maker. Also, Vision of Snipes, once they swapped to the Punisher, were able to just shred that health of the Venom too, because they were just a big sponge of just taking all the damage from the other team. That builds the ult charge so quickly, and why we saw so many Galactic Legends from Pinkie Pie, because they were just shooting them down, building up their ult charge the entire time. That it's like, hey, I'll take that for free.
I'm wondering if Messiah Esports is going to give Sizzy the respect that he deserves, because that Jeff, albeit not every single eat was a guaranteed kill. We did see some struggles of them getting.
Always got someone though.
Always got minimum 1, sometimes 3, a lot of the time 2. And most of the time, one person was going down. Either they are eaten up and swallowed, or they're getting thrown off the map here. And I mean, you both know how good Jeff is. Despite what my TikTok comments say, Jeff is a very good hero. Like, he's meta. True. He's meta. He's good.
At the top level of the competition for a reason. And like, maybe we will see a Jeff ban. We have been owed a Jeff ban this entire time. I mean, we've seen both teams play it, so maybe that's why they're not going for it because of how good they feel at it. But Captain Balatfro compared to Sizzy, it's no brainer. Sizzy has been the Jeff player in the lobby at this point in time. We saw Captain Balatfro actually a lot more effective on the Mantis there. So we'll see what they can do in this next map on Krakoa. I mean, based on trends, it worked out really well for domination last time for Messiah, as long as they don't make the mistakes that they did with the ultimate economy. The ult at the end, when it was on the attacking side for Stevenson, is what kind of cost them it as well, because they didn't really use those as effectively. We saw some odd combinations, too, from Captain Balatfro and Toasty, because we never saw the Jeff NATO for some reason. I don't know why, but just timing of their ultimates. And you see the alt button, you want to just click it, you know? That happens for a lot of players out there. So it's not just your ranked games, it's team play. You have to be a bit more cognizant of when you use those.
Yeah, happens to everyone here. And yeah, I think Stevenson really kind of locked in. I think, Acclamation, Pinkie Pie, we did see some combos there. We did see Messiah get the hand of Khonshu into the Strangling Prison a couple times. True. There. Was also able to combo the Khonshu into the Eye of Agamotto, but it felt a little desynced. It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to ult and then into the ultimate. It was like, oh, wait, he's ulting. Let me throw this in there really quickly.
I have mine. Let me use it.
It's like, wait. It's like he's running late for the bus kind of situation here, as we are going to go into the pick and bans.
Whoa, no way. Psylocke ban. That's crazy. Oh, I would have never guessed it.
Yeah, Stevenson University, I don't think they're going to let that one free, especially after what happened to them in game one. Emma being banned away.
Hella safe. Well,
I'm sure
I don't think we're going to see it, though.
I'm sure Stevenson wants to save it here, right? I mean, surely Pinkie Pie...
I mean, Pinkie was doing good on the Star-Lord, so I mean, I don't think you necessarily need the Hella unless you feel really confident on it, and you can do Hella Namor, and Hella Namor is actually really good on this, so that... If I was Messiah, I would ban Namor here, because you cannot allow them to have that combination, especially on domination.
No, I mean, it's also tough because if you don't let the Hella Namor through, then you let the Hella Jeff Venom through, which is a whole nother combination. Yeah. It's not as bad as the Namor for sure, but it is still annoying, right? I mean, the tendrils
just a bit
with the extra slow orb, like Messiah. Keep it simple.
There we go.
There you go. You don't it was ticking down. I was like, you don't gotta think about it. The game is telling you what you need to ban here. The save, though, like you mentioned, Vaudable, that's the crucial part, because a lot of these saves have worked in each other's favors for both of these teams. I do love the Winter Soldier that was getting consistently banned out from Stevenson University. Messiah has saved that for themselves here. Okay. I'm just worried because Stevenson University, the one above all player, is getting their best hero, and the Ultron that was consistently banned out from Messiah has been saved. So a little 3 support action potentially coming into the fray. I just don't value Ultron that highly. Like, I do think he is arguably, he might be the worst support in the game.
Yeah, well, the big thing here, too, is that it's pretty effective in avoiding those itch jeffs, too. That way you can also just be in the air, have that superiority, and bob and weave around, and, ult on them as well whenever they do use the itch jeff. Getting rid of the Venom, too, so that they don't have to worry about that from Scattered is massive. So I like the combinations that we're seeing. They've actually finally changed things up, and I don't think necessarily the saves are benefiting the other team more than it was before. Getting rid of the Storm, just so they don't have to worry about a scenario where there could be a Jeff NATO, is smart, and the damage boost, you don't have to worry about that. But Mantis is on the board. We could see Mantis, Adam Warlock, and also seeing the Ultron here as well. We do see the Mantis and Luna Snow. Okay, so the Luna Snow and Lil Jim on the Iron Fist.
No way.
I mean, Iron Fist is decent. We've seen more of that be played, but yeah, you want the Bucky, especially so you can take out Sizzy when they ult, because the Bucky's just been so good recently. I mean, always, actually, not recently.
I will say, because Atlanta had that one Iron Fist, I have been seeing so much more by games.
That's so true.
Like, I'm like, okay, you're not him.
A couple of them played for like a little bit.
Yeah, it has been interesting. I don't think we're going to see it here. I did see the Winter Soldier save, so I expect that hopefully from both teams. But Stevenson University, I love this, right? I mean, look, they're rocking the Angela plus Thor. They are going to opt in for that as their front line. I don't know if I agree with that, because the thing with Hela is that you want to give her as much space as possible. The best way to take space, I think, is with the shield tank. Give her something to shoot behind without having any of that cover. She's got to take more off angles, although just the one
for that, though.
Magneto. Yeah, that is true. This specific map on Krakoa is actually very good. We'll see if Stevenson University can replicate their Game 3 success here on a composition that is very similar to what they had in Game 4.
Yeah, not even going to be using Hela because they don't have the name more available to them, and we're just feeling so confident on the Star-Lord themselves, so we'll see how that goes. The Winter Soldier also able to use that too. The Kraken Impact is going to be very effective if they build it up fast enough and have the right timing for it. It's going to be hard to use that against an Angela though because of how much they can maneuver, so I don't think it'll be as effective against the tank line for Stevenson University. The back line and the mid, like the duelists that we get to see from them too, that'll be the time to use it. Getting rid of the Thor, I don't think Thor is the best that we could see on this map. Specifically just because there's so many like kind of open areas that they can take damage from. Already seeing Sizzy go down though from Biggie T Thanos. That's a massive pick here, trying to get rid of the Angela and block them off with the Groot walls. Decent strategy, but they just have so much that they can fly away. Acclamation does go down, Vision of Snipes goes down too, and the whole plan for Stevenson University out the window so far.
Yeah, it's really odd. Pinkie Pie is actually on the Star-Lord, and Vision of Snipes, who's also a Hela player, respectively, is going to be on that hero. Again, it's just, you don't get the space. Like, you just saw what happened. Little Jim, was just able to fire into the backline of Stevenson, has already built his ultimate up. Surely we're going to see Kraken Impact plus Strangling Prison, and it's just going to wipe the floor with Stevenson University.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough job to fulfill for Stevenson University to just stay alive on the objective if they can even get onto it. And this is just a repeat of the first domination that we saw from Celestial Husk. Scattered, I mean, they're going to be able to use the Strangling Prison with the combination of the Kraken Impact. We have the Meteor Emma though here from Big T Thanos, and they actually hit the dragon instead. Oh, it's such a nuisance to Magneto players on this objective for that reach. Strangling Prison into the Kraken Impact. They don't actually get to pick. Instead, we do have the It's Jeff coming through from Sizzy. It saves their team and gets rid of both of the ne'er-do-wells from the other side. A double for their side, so now a triple actually. Sizzy is just popping off for their team, and maybe the Jeff ban would have been a bit more warranted than some of the other ones we saw.
Yeah, surely if this goes to Game 5, Messiah gives Sizzy the respect they deserve, because it not only got gobbled up 2 members, it saved his team, who were all on execute from the Kraken Impact, and Shosho busting out one of my favorite heroes. Ooh. That's a Hulk coming in. Shosho is a Hulk player, has been playing a little bit in Season 4, has been picking it up. But into this composition, I don't know if I necessarily love it. Groot, Winter Soldier, Mantis, like there's a lot of ways for you to get CC'd up with impunity. You see the bubble coming out, and he's just going to be punching people down. Meteor M coming in as well. Does not land onto anybody. That doesn't matter, as Vision of Snipes into that Goddess of Death only gets 1, and that's a confirm with Pinkie Pie, who picks up 2 on the back end, and Biggie D Thanos goes down to Sizzy. Hulk is mad here. Monster Hulk in formation, although I don't think this was needed.
No, I think they just wanted to Hulk out and have some fun with it a little bit. Also, just to make sure they get the confirms, but Shosho built up their ultimate so quickly. Of course, they had a little bit left over once they swapped, but even then, like, just seeing the effectiveness of a good Hulk player is nice to witness at the state of the game when we rarely see them there. An Ancient Fossil, the Exiles are also so nice as well, just so it gets them out of the equation of team fights for a little bit. The ability to bubble the majority of your team, too, helps a lot to keep them in the fight and get them from the CC of some certain abilities out there too, so that's pretty good. And again, the Exiles have been on point against the other team, but Stevenson only have a couple of their members remaining on the side. Meteor M comes out here. They got to escape, and we'll see if they can. They do survive, so dodging yet another Meteor M. The bomb does not go down as they were wanting it to. Kraken Impact available for Lil Jim. They got to just stay in the fight as much as they can. The Hulk is doing some massive work against them, safe for a moment, but they will get taken out. Staggered just a little bit. A couple more percentage remaining for Messiah Esports to send us to that OT.
Yeah, Acclamation has swapped over to the Doctor Strange. Here you look on the side of Stevenson University. Pinkie Pie at 85%. Sizzy as well. The man to watch here has been absolutely killer on these Jeff Ultimates. But you've got Messiah Esports, 4 in the bank, specifically Scattered and Little Jim have it available. We should see the Kraken Impact come out very soon. He's looking for the E. The Execute comes in, does get one member, but they missed. They whiffed completely. Scattered picks up MP3. Sizzy does take out Spence on the backline. Thanos takes down Sizzy. So it is a 5v3 for Stevenson University, but Legendary from Pinkie Pie wants to go massive here. I've seen this before. Vaudable picks up 2, and on the back end, Shosho is just beating down Messiah. The great green fists of God will take down Messiah over here.
We'll see if it lasts long enough. Most people cleared from the objective for now. We do have the ult coming out from Spence just to hold the objective for Messiah for the portal to come through. Overtime is still in play for both of these teams. Messiah back on into the driver's seat. We do see Shosho hulking out with the wall breaker. Does take them out of the skies for now. No pick though, so they still survive, at least in this crucial moment for Lil Jim. We do have Toasty taken out of that play entirely, so good look there. Acclamation out of it as well. Trades back and forth between both squads, but Stevenson University does have more in the tank, at least a little bit, if they can hold on to the objective. Scattered doing what they can, holding on to the remaining health that they have available to them, but it is dwindling down. Stevenson University just need that final KO, and there they get it. They take their first ever control point against Messiah Esports into this matchup, but it was hotly contested.
I mean, Shosho and Pinkie Pie, the MVPs, right, of that round. I mean, Pinkie Pie coming in with a massive legendary. Shosho just putting the pressure onto Messiah Esports. No guns, no abilities, just hands throwing them, boxing down against Messiah Esports. And I know it's not a flashy score line, a 7-2-1, 2 final hits, but the amount of pressure that a Hulk puts onto your DPS, to your supports, really messes with what Messiah Esports want to do. And Little Jim, Messiah was the ones that saved this Winter Soldier. Honestly, not too much of an impact. Kraken impact specifically not being the difference maker it needed to be. And I think that's due into part from Sizzy getting constant swallows onto his teammates to prevent the executes. As we do see Messiah hop into a 3 support composition once again. Scattered is going to be onto the Thing this time. And Biggie Thanos back on that Magneto, 7% away from Meteor M. Stevenson, though, not really close to too much. They might end up losing this first fight from Messiah, as Acclamation has swapped over to the God of Thunder.
See what Acclamation can do on this one. Again, they don't have the team up available to them from the Angela, so it's a little bit different, but you mentioned it, they're basically just like a big chunky duelist that we've seen here as well. Like Fat Thor, but just on the attacking side of things for themselves. The Thing on the other end, though, for Scattered. See if that's going to be effective enough. Toasty, they need to get off the Ultron. It's not being a good look for them, especially with how open air this area is. They are very easy to target down and take out of the skies completely. And I feel like that's what did Messiah Esports in on the last objective. Meteor M, though, comes through with Big T Thanos on the MP3 player. Vision of Snipe does get one trade on Dispense. Now goes Big T Thanos. Pinkie Pie, you mentioned it, on the Galactic Legend. Got one crucial pick as well. But this Thing from Scattered is just staggering things just enough. That percentage towards the end of it, if it goes to another OT, could be what does Stevenson University in to force that third objective. So great staggering from Scattered as best as they can to at least prevent them from holding percentage early. And now they're slowly building things up, just keeping a couple people on the objective. They don't want a full push into the spawn of Messiah Esports.
Yeah, they're going to be holding this high ground here. Pinkie Pie going to go contested. 2 members here. He's going to have to back down. But what the Thing doing? He's just really kind of trying to create space with his fist. But you mentioned not the tankiest of members. And is just feeding ult charge over to Pinkie Pie at the moment. As you did recommend, Toasty, you swap off the Ultron. We do see him on to the Star-Lord to potentially challenge Pinkie Pie. And a bevy of ultimates on the board for both squads. Acclamation, though. Let's see if we can get the ultimate. You're locked in a dark room with the God of Thunder. Captain Voltro goes down immediately, is not willing to pop the fate of both worlds, and Messiah Esports are staring down a 4v6, and Acclamation on the backside just doing wonders here. Yeah, that's a nightmare scenario for any support there, Vaudable. A ulting Thor in a locked room? Yeah, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, you don't really want to experience the God of Thunder like that, or any scenario, but that's one of the few ways that they are able to be effective against one-on-one opponents, especially if they are a Luna Snow that's by their lonesome and doesn't have any really escape routes or movement abilities that I can use to get out of the way. But Sizzy, we've seen be so effective with these before, does get one E on it to the back line. They're going to hold on to their ally for now because they're just going to make sure that they can take down this invisible woman, but they do escape for a moment, and that is huge. They actually can't follow them. They're spinning around to see if they can see exactly where they were in the invisibility, but they do manage to escape for now. 30 HP won't be long enough, but that gets both of the supports out of the objective for now. So the Goddess of Death does have time to pop off and does pick one on it to Toasty, make it two on it to Biggie T. Thanos. Scattered also goes down for the triple Galactic Legend. It's credit from Pinkie Pie. Everyone going down from Messiah Esports, and speaking of going down, it's going into a map 5.
I'm not even surprised anymore, Vaudable. Like,
you know, we literally said this is gonna happen.
I said in week, you know, it happens week 1, week 3. Okay, I'm shocked. Week 7. I mean, at this point, it's just another day in the shop. Stevenson University. Yeah, pretty much. That's why we get paid the bucks here from NECC to cake
31-1. Is that what I saw?
31-1 from Pinkie Pie. And the crazy part is he doesn't even have the most final hits. Vision of Snipes actually does at 13. Both DPSs coming alive in the later stages of this series. Quite honestly, even Acclamation and Shosho, we've been saying how they've been getting consistently out-vanguarded by Thanos, by Scattered. They came up huge. Shosho specifically swapping over that Hulk in round 1 to just guarantee and be a nuisance. Now going into the Magneto as well. I mean, just doing what he needed to do. Love that from Stevenson University. Vaudable, maybe they heard you. You told them to lock in, and that's exactly what happened.
They had to take a break. You know, they had to wait for the stream to catch up a little bit. They heard the lock-in, and it was like, okay, we got this. Vaudable, I got you on this one. But no, I mean, a lot of it has to do with Pinkie Pie being unleashed. I think that's what we were not witnessing in the first domination, because Pinkie Pie was playing in that triple support composition with the Mantis and focusing more on supporting their team. And then they realized, hey, I'm kind of one of the best duelists, or am the best duelist who's reached the highest rank in the lobby. Let me just go off, and they've been unleashed since then. So it's great to witness that from them. Seeing Acclamation getting a bit more comfortable too, because they were the one that I was calling on to step up a bit more. And yeah, they didn't get as many final hits, but they were just effective in creating that space, is what you want to see from a tank. The Awakening Rune just to keep people off the objective, using the God of Thunder just to get that final KO onto the backline. And that's the big change here, I have to say, Shibby, is focusing on the backline more than they did before. They're saving their backline because Sizzy is staying alive, an MP3 player, and then on the other end, they're going from the back towards the front instead of front to back on their side of things, making sure that they can take out those supports in Spence and Toasty. Full swap from support into a duelist at the end, just to see if that would be enough for them to get some damage going and get some eliminations. But they could not do it. They couldn't keep up with Pinkie Pie and Snipes, who combined were able to get over 20 final hits, and that was the difference maker here.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they open up Hella again. I'm really interested to see if they're
I'd
willing
ban
to
Hella
give
for sure.
Yeah, not that I'm saying like necessarily
they
it was
didn't
the
need the
death of
Emma.
them. Yeah, I like the Emma. Yeah, that was the interesting part as well. If they're gonna ban Starlord away, because now Pinkie Pie is winning that tug of war that initially Messiah had, right? Little Jim specifically was really lethal on that Starlord, was getting the better of Pinkie Pie, but now I think Pinkie has just been doing a fantastic job. He's found his rhythm. He's much better understanding when to use his ultimates. Pretty much every time I've seen him pop it, he's guaranteed one kill, if not multiple, and has been doing a very good job with his team. I don't know if the Jeff gets banned, because realistically, Sizzy,
there's so
Sizzy
many
was
things.
Okay. Yeah, like the thing is, Sizzy doesn't stick out in my mind. Yeah, Sizzy doesn't stick. Like, okay, game 3, game 2, sure. Game 4 had like 1 or 2 single man eats. The one really impactful one was where he saved his team from the Kraken Impact plus Groot combo. maybe that sticks in their mind, but that wasn't like the game deciding one, right? That was more just like a really good play that any other support could have done. So I'm interested to see what Messiah Esports draft strategy is, because
Shout out, Jeff.
it seems that they're that's such a cool picture. It seems that they have drafted themselves into a bit of a corner, and maybe they don't know how to get out.
We'll have to see once we go back from the break into our Map 5. But both these teams giving it their all. Messiah Esports and Stevenson University A. Only one can make it into the playoffs, win Map 5, and you are in. We'll see you after the break. We're back a little bit earlier from the break because both of the teams are ready to get things rolling for our map 5. And I got a little bit of a leak here, Shivy, on what map it's going to be. It's going to be Symbiotic Surface for Convergence. Love this one for it to be our final decider between these two teams. It's going to be Stevenson on attack for this one. And I'm curious if we're going to see a strange portal from the get-go, if we're going to be seeing them just going the full right flank that we've seen teams go, or straight down the main street. There's a couple different options that you could do for it. This map's been around since the game's been out, basically. So all the strategies are known quantities, and that's what makes it so fun in my mind, Chivy, because like teams know what they can do. They know the counters for it. There's some interesting plays that they can go for, but at the end of the day, getting those KOs from the attacking side so you can go onto the objective, secure things, lock it down, and quickly move on to that convoy side, because it's so tough to escort that payload all the way to that second checkpoint in this specific map because of all the different high angles that you can have. You can have a Punisher turret. You can just be annoying. You can have an Angela be annoying too. Just like taking people into corners and just beating them up afterwards. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I think this map, every single point is difficult for the offensive side. Like if we were to use like Counter-Strike or Valorant terms, like this is a very CT sided or defense sided map. Like it is kind of disgusting because of the map composition. Like you mentioned, even that third point, tons of teams struggle to get it past bend on the last point because of how close the defensive side is. They can quite instantly just spawn and an infinite, like just jump over the gap and get to there. So it is pretty tough here. Rarely do we see a full 3 points coming out from either team. It's usually at 1.5 or more often than not. Sometimes teams get full held here, which has happened to us.
Rocket save. Okay.
As we do see a rocket save coming in. I don't know if this is going to be the difference maker for Messiah Esports.
I'll counter you on that. The beacon is going to be huge, though, on the defensive side. So I think that, and
100%.
also having the Cosmic Yarn amplifier for the damage boost, I think because they didn't have that last time, because it was banned by Stevenson University, it'll work out pretty decently. But they do not want to worry about the combination there with the Penny Parker.
Penny's second best map. If Central Park is her first one, this is her second best by far. I love the mention of the res beacon, specifically on the defensive side. You're right, it's invaluable.
Finally.
But also, they are going to ban the Jeff away. Sizzy is going to have to give us something different, whether that is going to be the Cloak or the Luna that they've been playing, or maybe they'll pick up the Rocket themselves. As a Rocket connoisseur myself, this is also a very good map, specifically on that first point on the defensive side, because you can throw your heals through your whole team down that hallway, and you are building up ultimates so quickly. It's disgusting. And there's a lot of good areas for you to pop your ultimate in the sky, right above that big pillar. You can pop it behind if you're on the defensive side, and it's really difficult for the enemy team to take it away. I want to see a Phoenix save from Stevenson. I know it didn't work out for them in map 1 and 2, but I think in this map specifically, it's even more valuable. Instead, you know what? Yeah, that's fair.
I get it.
I think you save Pinkie Pie, Star-Lord. You know what? You're right. Keep it simple, Shibby. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, we saw them save Phoenix a couple of times, and it just didn't really do much. They didn't feel as confident on it. And yeah, you can use it to get rid of those beacons and the amplifier, but it's just more of a backup to some of the other duelists that are out there nowadays from what we've seen, based on how it's not as broken as it was before, with them basically be like a melee DPS with the combinations that they used to be able to do. They're banning it just to make sure that they don't even have it too, because they don't want to worry about it at all. So getting rid of the Groot, I think, is smart, because especially in that first hallway, getting to the objective, Groot's pretty effective there, just to section people off so that they have to go a little bit around those walls and they can get focused down a lot easier as well. You can't really escape unless you have a character like Star-Lord that can fly around them, so don't want to worry about that whatsoever. Snipes on the Punisher. Punisher worked really well for them before, so, but they're actually going to go with the Winter Soldier this time, and we haven't really seen a Winter Soldier pop off from Stevenson University, so I'm kind of excited to see what they can do with it.
Yeah, Mr. Bucky Barnes himself going to be piloted by Stevenson University. Momentum on their side as well. Messiah, mind you, was up 2-0. They were on match point for a while here. You've got to believe that the looming threat of getting reverse swept is in the back of their minds, and Stevenson are riding all momentum possible, but sometimes that pressure can get to the best of you. Stevenson might not be up when the lights are the brightest. I love that we're in a 2-2 situation. Vaudable, I love that it's us again. In a game 5 situation on Clintar specifically. Stevenson University are going to open up once again with that Angel. They've done it multiple rounds in a row. And the good thing is, Acclamation, when it doesn't work, they have swapped out. But instead, they're going to opt in for a composition they ran in Game 3, which got them that first win. It's essentially 3 tanks, but Thor is being used as a big DPS. He's a meaty DPS player. Pinkie Pie was getting some crazy ultimates off. And look, Audible, I could shed a tear. They're not going down main.
They're finally flanking. A team's doing it. They've learned. They've adapted. Well, we haven't seen this team specifically, but either way, it's nice to see some ingenuity from these squads. Making sure they can take out that beacon is massive. They don't want to worry about that res, but that is so effective on this first objective. If you just get a free return from any demise on your side on the defensive end and don't have to take that long hallway journey back, which is massive. They still have Adam Warlock in play if they do opt to play that later on, but Snipes here on the Star-Lord, not as effective as we saw Pinkie Pie, was still doing some good work to keep the damage going and try to build up their ultimate about 50% and some great heals from their backline. Gotta give the credit where it's due to MP3 player and it's Sizzy, who's on Luna Snow instead of the Jeff because it did get banned out and still feeling like they're at home.
Yeah, I mean, look how much damage Snips is doing as well. Maybe not getting the kills, but definitely forcing Messiah back. Acclamation, though, is in a bit of a tough situation. Pops that shield. Captain Battlefro is going to back up here. We do have Feast the Abyss available for Scattered Spence as well. Pops the Mantis ultimate. MP3 player is going to pop that invisible boundary. And Snipes does have the legendary available. And Battlefro is popped the fate of both worlds. Snipes just has to wave it out, and that's exactly what they're gonna do. Sizzy's gonna pop his. We're gonna get a damage boosted Thor and Galactic Legend here. Battlefro does go down. It's a 5v6. Stevenson have all but secured point 1 for themselves. I don't think they're gonna be able to get the captain, or sorry, not captain, the Doctor Strange portal there. Messiah, though, sitting on a bevy. Biggie Thanos does go down there, and that's another stagger. Stevenson get 3 on the cart.
It's a great look from Stevenson so far, and we really haven't seen much resistance from the side of Messiah Esports. They don't really know how to counter this composition, and that's the biggest thing that's being a struggle for them. Even the Rocket Raccoon is trying to stay alive. The Awakening Rune's doing some good damage against them, just at least force them away from the lane towards the convoy itself. So good looks. I'm liking the dueling that we're seeing from the Angela towards the Venom, just to make it so that they have more trouble. Galactic Legend, though, does get popped here by Lil Jim. Does get one. There's another pick as well from their teammates, but the Angela is just being such a nuisance, taking them out of the skies before they can even do real damage.
Looks like Messiah, though, is going to get the fight win here. Stevenson University will be pushed back temporarily. Scattered has been holding on to this Feast of the Abyss for a while now. At some point, you're just losing efficiency, but I think you want to stack the amount of damage boost you can onto him, and then you pop the R into Feast of Abyss, which is exactly what they're going to try to do here. But a CC chain! Oh my lord! And somehow Scattered gets out!
Bro got robbed in the darkness of his own map and said, yeah, I'm out of here, and somehow escaped with barely their lives, but none of their lunch money remaining. That's such a tough scenario to find themselves in, but a lot of utility was wasted on that. They don't have the Assassin's Charge from the Angela as quickly as they would have liked it to try and take out Star-Lord, but they're using Pinkie Pie instead. They do have the God of Thunder available to them. They are going to pop it, but they are going to be forcing out the fate of both worlds. Massive way to use that, still keeping it on the back line. Couldn't get the charge they wanted. Does drop down with the ultimate here from the Meteor M. Scattered gets one. It's a good pick as well from Magneto. Vision of Snipes goes down as well. There's a double for Lil Jim, and well, Messiah Esports, they have found control yet again. Time ticking down for Stevenson University, even after some good picks and looks from them. I think the oddness of this composition, the triple tanks, is just showing the weakness of not being able to get enough KOs against Messiah Esports to do some good work.
Yeah, Vision of Snipes, though, does have the Galactic Legend available, and there's no support ultimate to answer. Toshi doesn't have Cosmic Yard Amplifier, Battlefro, no, Luna Snow ultimate, and Spence is very far away. This is Snipes' time to actually turn this map around right now.
Here it goes.
Exactly what he's going to do. He's going to look for the legendary onto the back line, and there we go. Shades of Pinkie Pie being channeled into Snipes right now. That's at least going to get them around this first corner, but there's going to be at least one more contest from Messiah Esports because how much time they wasted from Stevenson on this first bend.
Honestly, I could see 2 contests from Messiah Esports because it takes so long to get to that second checkpoint, especially if they touch down at some point in time. Looking at the ultimate charges too for both tanks, are going to be up and running in just a moment. Galactic Legend available here for Little Jim. They're waiting for their moment to strike. Acclamation though, hoping for the Heaven's Fall at some point to just keep them grounded. They're waiting for the perfect time to use it, but there we go. The Sonic Seduction is going to make it a move point. They get sent to the ground again by the Angela. They can't even do anything. Heaven's Fall is actually misplaced, and they're going to have to back up with it. Barely surviving here in the last seconds. Angela wasting their ultimate. Stevenson University just giving up that point for free.
Ooh, I get what they were trying to do there. They're trying to pin down Little Jim after the Psionic Seduction. But yeah, a really weird Heaven's Retribution coming out from Acclamation here. And it looks like they're going to channel the TP a little early here, 30 seconds in, but better late than never, especially because this last fight could be the last of this round. Snipes 80% towards that ultimate is going to have to survive because if he goes down, that portal's not going to be there. Pinkie Pie takes down Battle Pro in the backline. It's a 5v6, but you still have Spence's ultimate going off, and they're going to pick up Pinkie Pie. 5v5, Toasty finally goes down. Snipes is going to take him down. Big ET, though, has to come up massive with this Meteor Ram. Takes down Sizzy. That's a support. Legendary coming in from Snipes. Has to go crazy. There is no ultimates available to counter. He's going to take down one, but has to come up with more. Bro is going to look to survive. So much sustain. Can he land the sleep or the snowball? No, he can't, but it doesn't matter because you haven't taken him down, and now his ultimate's back up. And I don't think Stevenson are going to get another opportunity to actually fight this, as Messiah Esports are just ult-gapping Stevenson potentially here.
Yeah, even with the portal that came in at one point in time, we are still seeing Messiah Esports holding it down for the last couple of seconds. They do not get that second checkpoint. We talked about how difficult it is, even once you secure the capture point, to escort that payload properly to that checkpoint too on this specific map, because there's so many different moments where you can stop the momentum of that objective being delivered. So Messiah Esports looks pretty solid so far. We do see Spence pulling out the Mantis this time on the attacking side for Messiah, and that's has looked really solid before. So Messiah Esports are looking to prevent the reverse sweep, and with their composition won't be too much to worry about. But looking on the other side, I'm sure you witnessed that for a moment. We did see the Adam Warlock hovered here, but it's actually going to be Pinkie Pie picking it up because, again, it's kind of a pseudo duelist healer that you see for that strategist because of the hit scan.
Yeah, and we saw something similar in map 1 where Pinkie Pie was on the Mantis, again playing a duelist support hybrid or duelist strategist hybrid. Although this is the never die comp, right? Sizzy on the rocket as well. Rez Beacon, like, you're not going to just have to win one fight. You got to win 2, and even if you get a pick, you have to pick them off again. Like, it is a really annoying composition to go towards. And this is a relatively low elim, low kill game because of the 3 support nature of this map, or this game specifically. So it's very crucial that the DPS specifically are baiting out and understanding the cooldowns. Little Jim has been doing a pretty good job off these Galactic Legendaries, but realistically, it's a 3-tank, 3-support composition on Convergence. I don't think we've seen this.
I've seen, like, we saw it a couple times during Ignite this past weekend, and it worked decently, but the biggest thing comes out of the fragging ability of those Vanguards. If they are able to get some eliminations and open things up, that'll be massive. If they can't, and they don't have enough damage that they are putting onto the other team, well, they're going to be dead in the water on this objective. So, gotta keep their supports alive, gotta keep people off the objective, and Messiah Esports, so far for now, doing some decent work. But Stevenson University on the attacking side having that composition, I think they're just hoping to survive long enough and outlive Messiah Esports on point 1. That way they can hold things down even through all the damage that is being dealt. We do see one go down. Toasty does get the revive with the beacon, so huge to bring them back in the fight. Lil Jim Just trying to stay alive, though, building up their ult charge and hasn't been healed this entire time. Finally getting some signs of life on their end of things and just trying to keep people off the objective for Stevenson, who have multiple ultimates available. If they use one to win a team fight, that'd be a great way to start, but Lojim just gets one for free. Sizzy should not have gone for that. Eye of Agamotto even getting popped here, and not really getting many people with it. Stevenson University not timing their ultimates properly, and Messiah Esports are taking advantage.
Whoa, karmic retribution right in front of the faces of Messiah Esports. This might be the move here. Captain Baltro and Toasty have popped both their ultimates in sequential order. Scattered is going to pick up Pinkie Pie, who might have that self-res, which he does. Soul Bond is available. And we see Biggie T Thanos unfortunately takes down Pinkie Pie, but Stevenson University have made it a 5v5, and Sizzy's going to pop the Luna Snow ultimate. This has to be a massive Meteor M, and unfortunately does not land onto the right target. So it means Messiah Esports is going to have to chew through Stevenson another time here. A minute, nearly 3 actually have gone in the favor, as Acclamation on the Thor looks to pick up kills.
Yeah, we'll see what Acclamation can do on this. I was thinking it was still a bit of an odd pick during this composition, but we talked about how much they can do some good damage with that Awakening Rune, with their ultimate as well, but they still haven't been able to get an elimination at this point. Trying to get at least one. Finally, on it to Biggie T Thanos. Pinkie Pie sends them packing. Scattered barely alive. Someone needs to get the final hit on them because they still have the Feast of the Abyss available to them. The great freeze, though, forces them to pop their E to at least stay alive for now, and great heals coming out from their team on Messiah Esports to keep them in contention for this objective. So much time wasted. Stevenson University, they got that first objective. Messiah Esports struggling to even get a piece of the pie here on this objective.
Yeah, and Spence popped the Mantis ultimate to try to keep Scattered alive, but he goes down. Here we see the Cosmic Yard Amplifier. Big Eye of Agamotto lands onto the back line, and Acclamation comes in with Mjolnir to secure the kills. Messiah Esports, they might just get full held by Stevenson on this 3-tank, 3-support composition. Vision of Snipes has swapped over. Never mind, Messiah actually has to swap over to potentially the Strange here. But who's going to do it? Biggie T Thanos, who is 76% on the ultimate, takes one for the team, pops the portal. We are in last fight territory, and Pinkie Pie has the karmic retribution, so Messiah Esports has to win this fight twice, Vaudable.
That they do. This is the full hold strategy for Stevenson University, and they popped 3 of their ultimates from the get-go. Saw the Galactic Legend get popped. The Psionic Seduction is just going to shut it down completely, trying to see if they can at least get one pick, but no, barely any health remaining here for Lil Jim, and they will get taken out. Scattered and Biggie T Thanos, the only ones remaining on the objective. No portal remaining to back them up. Stevenson University are looking for the full reverse sweep. They send everyone packing up the objective. Maybe one final touch from Captain Battle Pro, but they can't get there in time. Messiah Esports gets reverse swept, and Stevenson University secure the playoffs.
Being down 0-2 to reverse sweeping Messiah Esports, battle-tested Stevenson University picks up the playoff berth here. And yeah, that better be the MVP. Pinkie Pie on the Adam Warlock is gonna be the hero for Stevenson University. 21-6, by the way, 12 final hits. Now that wasn't all on Adam, but a good chunk of those was on the defensive side. Very well played from Stevenson University. Messiah Esports, their fate is not in their hands anymore. They are going to have to hope that some other teams lose out and they have the head-to-head over them. But very well played from Stevenson University. Vaudable. I'm not even shocked anymore.
Oh man, it's such a tough spot to be in. So based on the game differential and MSU Red, they are also 3-3. So Stevenson University going to 5. MSU Red could technically, if they win their series in a better way without it going to 5, say they get a sweep, get over top of Stevenson and get in before Messiah and Stevenson on their side for that top 4. So they got to be keeping an eye on that final matchup on how things are going there, because those teams are playing right now as well on their side of things. So that is looking at that specific matchup, MSU Red and NEIT Blue. The good thing here for Stevenson University is because they're facing off against the #1 team who has not dropped a single map. So pretty much in the bag for Stevenson University, even going to 5 and taking the victory. So unfortunately for Messiah, they cannot make it into the playoffs due to that loss, but they gave it their all, went to 5. It just took Stevenson University a little bit of time to figure out the strategy, and they had just better comps from the get-go after that comeback started.
Yeah, I mean, like we look at the map score here, Sustil Husk 2-0, Central Park 2-1, like it was complete and utter domination. And then the momentum started to shift. Yggdrasil 3-1, Krakoa 2-0. I mean, Symbiotic Surface was not even close. I know it was back and forth, but we realistically got, what, 2, maybe 2.5 team fights from Messiah on that last point. It was kind of rough. And honestly, Acclamation, kind of the hero along with Vision of Snipes there on the Thor plus Doctor Strange combo, I think was what did it for me on the defensive side. The Eye of Agamotto onto the multiple supports of Messiah Esports to get those kills and to shut everybody down. And also you saw a little bit of panic coming in from Messiah. Spence specifically, I think Scattered needed to swap off that Venom because multiple moments in this series, he was getting diving in and then he was getting frozen, grabbed, grounded, and like, yeah, he was getting out, but you can't guarantee that every single time. And we saw it being super punishing for them on that final push. Spence feel like he needed to pop that Mantis ultimate, pops it in panic to keep Scattered alive. Scattered goes down anyways, and it's kind of a wasted Mantis ult because it's a 5v6. And then after that, we just see the combo that I talked about, the Eye of Agamotto into the Thor. And that kind of killed all momentum that I think Messiah Esports really had on that. And then you shut the Karmic Retribution on top. It was really bold of him, by the way, from Slizzy to just pop it right on point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get 70% of your health as bonus health. So, like, you know, as long as there's not a Phoenix in play, it's not that bad.
It isn't that bad, but again, we could talk all day about this series, but we have another one because this went to 5 that's going to be starting very soon. So congratulations again to Stevenson University for getting that reverse sweep, pretty much making it into the playoffs unless we see the first place team dropping their first ever maps in like a sweep fashion. That's the only way that they do not make it into the playoffs. So definitely keep an eye on those results in Division 3. But we have a Division 2 matchup coming up after this. You don't want to miss it. So we'll be back with that in just a little bit. Welcome back, everyone. A little bit of a short break there. Back into the action. Now up a division into Division 2 to see who will get their guaranteed spot into the playoffs. Again, look a little bit about the standings here. Kansas State University varsity are 4-2. There's two other teams, one that's 4-3, which is Kettering, and Illinois Institute of Technology, which is also 4-2. So this is a pretty intense matchup between these squads because Illinois Institute of Technology also need a victory in this matchup, who are facing against Kansas State University varsity to try and make those playoffs. Both these teams technically can make it depending on game differential, but if you win, you are in at this point in time for these squads, and that's what matters most. And we saw Kansas State University varsity earlier, Shibby, against Maryville. And speaking of reverse sweeps, Maryville got a reverse sweep in our first week of action. That's how things kicked off here. So Kansas State University varsity, they are hoping to not repeat that here.
Yeah, I got the rosters here. Kent State Esports, Bread, John Hill, Calby, Fooley, Cosmic Frosty, and Kex. And on the side of the Illinois Institute of Technology, Esticide, Hurt Pretty Bad, Maury, Dat One Kid, Solisto, and the Nicole rounding out the roster. But Vaudable, that game 5, that 5-game series got me hungry. And you know what I want? I want some Wenzel Farms meat sticks. They are made in Wisconsin. They go great with gaming because of how portable they are.
Okay.
And the best part, just like Marvel Rivals, they've got an expansive amount of characters or flavors. 14 of them mouth-watering flavors here. Legendary Wisconsin Farm Wenzel meat sticks since 1977. That's before me or you were either born. So they've been in the game for a long time.
And we're old.
well, yeah. In esports, we're pretty old.
In esports terms, yeah. We're still pretty young at heart.
My knees hurt.
Yeah, shout out to Wenzel's Farms. You can see them right above Shibby's head there for a second. Also got to give a shout out to our other sponsor, by Blue Light, because they also have us covered. Gamers, your eyes take a beating out there, but by Blue Light has you covered. Premium blue light glasses keep you sharp, focused, and ready for victory without the eye strain. So level up your game and protect your vision. Check out Buy Blue Light, the official eye care partner of NECC. So shout out to them. You can visit them at byebluelight.com. So that's how you visit them and get your vision upgraded, because that seems to be the issue for a lot of these players missing their shots. Either way, though, we do have our first series here. It seems like we are going to be going to... Oh, this is actually the band, Celestial Husk. Okay. That's what we usually see. So we're not getting something unorthodox this time, Shibby.
Yeah, I can take one game of Celestial Husk here, as we are going back to the tried and true. You know what, though, Vaudable? I'm not going to say it yet. I'm not going to spoil it. I'm not going to even mention that map's name because we have yet to see it here. We could potentially, if we go into a Game 4 scenario. But Burning T'Challa is going to be our map of choice here. One of my favorites. Domination, I think, is one of my favorite game modes. It probably is my favorite, which I think is kind of an unpopular opinion. I think a lot of people prefer Convergence or Convoy. I love the map changes. I love the different strategies that can come out depending on the map, specifically in Burn-In, because you have that big open one where the waterfall is, and Jeff is very valuable. Then you've got the airbase map, and that's a lot more at close quarters, where dive is a lot more prevalent. I think we can see these teams try to feel each other out, but one hero we're not going to see, and I know you've called Psylocke the best DPS in the game. Winter Soldier definitely gives her a run for her money.
Oh, for sure. I mean, probably the DPS that's needed a balance change the most out of any, because they have not been touched for the most part, is definitely Winter Soldier on that one. Seeing Emma Band, though, another one that's not too surprising, the Magneto save. I mean, that's what we saw at the start of Season 4 for a while, even in mid-season, where there was always a Mag or an Emma Ban, and then the opposite save, so you at least secure one of those two tanks for you. Being a Psylocke, they don't want to have to worry about the combination of the Emma and the Psylocke, but we do see Psylocke on the table to be played because that Winter Soldier is out of that equation. They want to make sure it's available to them. Jeff Band, because again, we see how effective it is in the top tier.
Yeah.
And again, this is a tier above. Looking specifically at the ranks that we see here, a lot of people that have reached Eternity, Celestial at the highest, some people that are there currently in Season 4.5. They have played a lot more games than we saw in our last series. This is bound to be competitive, and getting rid of Rocket is also meta. This is what I love. These teams, they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they definitely are. They pass my grade specifically because, again, you gotta outrank higher than me. A lot of players here, Celestial 3, Celestial 2, and this season specifically, Season 4, I think Celestial 1 is like top 1,000. So these guys
Pretty
are like
much, yeah.
the top 2,000, if not 3,000 players in the world here at the moment. Or sorry, in NA specifically. But yeah, this is meta. Magic being saved here for the Illinois Institute of Technology is really nice because that one kid has played a ton of Bucky and Magic. And if you take the Winter Soldier away, you have to believe that he's going to save one of his prized possessions here. Strange being removed. Kansas State University already showing me way more in the draft than what we expected here. And I love that Hello removal at
Huge.
the end. Vaudable, this is going to be a lot more akin to the MRI and MRC matches that we have seen so far. I'm excited. This is practically a pro-level match.
It is basically a pro level match. I mean, we saw Gian Hill, D-Bread, Calby, Fooley, Cosmic Frosty, Kex. The way that they performed before against that Maryville roster was electric. It was unfortunate that they did get reverse swept, but Maryville are now towards the bottom of the standings. Same for Akron Blue, too. Institutions we've seen in collegiate esports for such a long time not making it into the playoffs. These teams, well, Kansas State University varsity need the win to guarantee. Illinois Institute of Technology can technically make it in with some help based on game differential if it goes further than just a sweep. So that's what they're hoping for at the least. We'll see what KSU varsity can do on their side of things. But hey, it's your favorite character here, Shippy. We do have a Hulk in the building.
I love that. Hurt pretty bad is going to be on to the Hulk here. I love that. I think it's really good. Like you mentioned, the ability to dive with the magic is going to be invaluable. No Angela, no Captain America. This is much more of a brawl style dive. It's a lot slower, but that ultimate, especially if you get the juggling down, which I expect from Hurt, who is a Celestial 2 Hulk player. Yeah, I'm excited.
It's gonna be great. That one kid too, we finally get to see some like high-level magic play. We saw a little bit of it hinted in at that last matchup, but they weren't really as effective as they wanted to be on it. So Nicole trying to keep them alive as best as possible. Calby will see them effective on the new Psylocke skin, looking stylish as best as they can, but pretty standard compositions from both of these teams. Hooli on the Phoenix, and we saw them be pretty lethal on that last time against Maryville Academy, so watch out for that. The Exile comes through already, doing some good damage on it to the Duelists, making it so that they can't even be a threat onto that first objective here. Early percentage from Illinois Institute of Technology, and makes sense why they have a +6 game differential or map differential, because they are lethal with the way that they are dissecting the other team. But Calby's just pushing them off the point, and they already, Kansas State University forced them just by taking out a couple of players here. You could tell Illinois Institute of Technology aren't worried about giving up that early percentage.
Yeah. Calby specifically took down Mori in the back. That was the Punisher going down, which relieves a lot of pressure onto, you know, people like D-Bread, like Cosby, who are getting sniped away here. SSI, though, on their signature Magneto, one of their most played, I think, is actually the guy who has like a 900 or 1,000 games on Mag. We do see Calby pop the dance of the butterfly. Mori's going to pop the final judgment along with the invisible boundary. That one kid, though, does pick up Frosty in the back end. Kansas State is in a 6v5 situation, but it looks like this final judgment is going to be his final demise as he goes down instantly. D-Bread and Calby with the punchback. SSI does pick up Kex 30. It is a 4v4 with Fooley coming back into the fray, but I don't think the Illinois Institute of Technology just have enough juice left in the tank. Kansas State, really well played, but it looks like Cosmic is going to pop that Mantis ultimate here just to guarantee the point win, and that's 58%, now 60 being accumulated for Kansas State. We are in potential last fight territory for Illinois Institute of Technology.
Yeah, this is a tough spot to be in for Illinois Institute of Technology too. I mean, they look decent at the get-go. They got the first percentage on the objective, but then lost a couple of their members, completely backed off the points, and then just gave it up to Kansas State University. And Calby is no stranger to danger in these 1v1 duels, just taking on the world and seeing if they can get as much as possible when it is given to them. That space, that effectiveness and ruthlessness that we're witnessing from them is on another level. Getting credited with at least an assist on that play, but did most of the work for it. Get them off the objective. That one kid on the flank, try and get on the objective since no one's really in position, but they are going to have to get pushed back from it, not wanting to waste their ultimate just yet, giving that first objective at Warrior Falls up to Kansas State University. But We have an Institute of Technology here. Well, they're going to the Imperial Institute of Science. Maybe that will be their bread and butter, their home scenario for them to take advantage. But looking at that, only 3 members on the side of Kansas State University dropping KOs. That is an insane start for them, especially with how fast they are able to turn things around on that first objective.
Kansas State has the bread and butter actually on their team. But anyways,
Just a bit.
regardless, this is surprising. I'm not going to call Illinois Institute of Technology out immediately, but a little bit of lack of research. D-Bread and Calby getting both of their best and most played heroes, right? Groot and Psylocke specifically, and they're just being absolutely punished for it. I mean, Calby has gotten multiple individual picks. Doesn't even need the Dance of the Butterfly, has just been dueling that one kid and Mori and winning those duels. It's kind of tough when you have to fight the best DPS in the game, and Calby is an absolute technician on it. Mori, though, is going to swap over to the Moon Knight with that new skin. One of the coolest skins. By the way, the Battle Pass one, amazing. Gives him futuristic sounding onks here, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to stop Calby, who's got the Dance of the Butterfly available. Nicole is probably going to pop the Luna Snow Ultimate. No, they actually just tried to patty cake through it, but there's just too much damage. I don't think that's possible anymore.
That was not worth it for them to save their ultimates there, in my opinion. They did have a lot available for Kansas State University varsity, but just for the cost of a single Psylocke ult, they were able to get it. So maybe there was a bit of a issue on their side as to why they didn't use it, but that might have also just been a fat finger for the pause on that side because of how quick they turned around afterwards. So they do get back into the fray. We'll see if they need another one afterwards. Not exactly sure if it was an accident, but seems like that was the case for them. So maybe just needed a second to recollect their thoughts and blow their nose or something, and then now they're back into the fray. And D-Bread fully with the Phoenix ultimate coming through right onto D. Nicole. Mori goes down and quickly in tandem, looking for the third on the back line. See if they can snipe the Invisible Woman from the skies. Doesn't need it, so Calby will turn around instead, focus on the Vanguards, and there goes Hurt pretty bad down into the spawn room. See if they get one more for the road. That one kid taken out themselves. The KOs are dropping the other team like flies from the Illinois Institute of Technology, but they are holding on to their ultimates as much as possible. Eventually they got to use them because they're giving so much percentage for free to Kansas State University varsity.
55%, and mind you, Strange is banned this game, right? It was taken out at the last second, so you don't have the ability to actually teleport onto the point. And in that whole time, Calby has built up another Dance of Butterfly. We'll see if they actually end up using it. D-Bread picks up a kill onto Mori, 5v6, and they're going to pop it right now. It might not be enough to take the kill. The Invisible Boundary saves Solisto and the rest of the gang. SSI is going to pop the Magneto ultimate, picks up Cosmic in the back, and this might be the turnaround that IoT needed.
Wow.
But Calby absolutely executes the rest of the Illinois Institute of Technology. When you need an assassin, when you need a murderer, Calby's on the case.
Cannot be stopped. Notices all the yokais on the other team and vanquishes them from this realm. Does not want to have to worry about them whatsoever. Getting any percentage on the objective, 100% to 0. Clinical dissection and decimation in the backlines of Illinois Institute of Technology. We thought the Institute of Science might be a comfort zone for them, but it seemed to be Psylocke's hunting grounds instead. Kansas State University varsity are not going to make the same mistake they did before, at least for now, on the reverse sweep against Maryville Academy. They are wanting to secure their path to victory in as quick a time as possible, and that's one way to do it.
I feel like you're trying to speak it into existence here as Calby racing for that 3-0. A rightful MVP, 13 final hits. I mean, absolutely disgusting. I mean, this is tough. Obviously, Domination, a much more volatile game mode, and we've seen this happen before. We literally saw it in our last game, our last series, where the team that lost the first Domination map ended up the team that won the first Domination map ended up losing in the end there, and very similar score lines as well. But I don't think Illinois Institute of Technology is going to make that same mistake. Groot not going to go over to D-Bread. I don't think Calby's going to get the Psylocke. He shouldn't get the Psylocke, guys.
Banning the Emma is just so last patch. unfortunately, at this point in time, as like the first ban. You want to ban either that duelist that's really strong on the other team or like a Mantis or Jeff from what we've witnessed. And it's a little bit different, of course, when it comes to the simplified ban system, which is what we're using. It bans for everyone, it saves for everyone. So that is something that people have to keep in mind. And SSI did do really good on the Magneto, but again, like even if Mag is banned out, you could go Emma instead. You can go a couple different of those Vanguards that are out there. So I think also prioritizing the Magic wasn't really the right play here either for their side. We saw Magic do a little bit, but again, Magic is not meta for a reason. There's so many other different heroes like Psylocke that's better at flanking and doing crazy damage in the back line, as we witnessed from Calby on that one. So we'll see what changes in terms of the picks and bans as we go to Convergence next, and we'll hear about what they ban out, what they pick this time. Got Central Park. We got a couple different options here. We have Hell's Heaven, or it's Hall of Heaven now. Exactly. We have a Hell's Heaven and Hall of Heaven. A little bit confusing. So many Heaven words here. There's like Heaven's Fall that we have there for the alt 2 as well, or Heaven's Retribution, excuse me, on that one. So there's a couple of different idioms that we have there for these usages of it throughout the scene in Marvel Rivals. But that's the kind of the theme this season, Chivy, is that Heaven versus Hell, the Daredevil versus the Angela. And we haven't really seen many Daredevil plays. We've seen Daredevil be very effective. Yeah, like I'm actually surprised we haven't seen much of it at this point in time, because it is able to be played. It's been enough time from what I understand for these teams. But I think because they haven't played it in the previous weeks, they might not be as comfortable with it.
Yeah, I mean, none of these players have any time on Daredevil. Even if I look at kind of their most played in Season 4, because I tallied up what they played in 4 and 4.5, no one has really locked into Daredevil. And it's interesting, as we are going to get Central Park there, Vaudable, you willed it into existence. And the interesting part is, Illinois Institute of Technology, they might be a little handicapped, I would argue, at the duelist role, specifically because like that one kid has Bucky and Magic, and then after that it kind of falls off a little bit. They play a lot of Thor, they play a lot of Spider-Man, again, not the most meta conventional heroes. So if Kansas State just bans away the Bucky and is like, yeah, we can deal with the Magic, it's just a Magic, it doesn't matter how good you are, if you don't have that Strange team up that enables her a little bit more, right, gets that double kind of chains of Sidorak onto you, and then you can kind of combo up and get that brawly style composition going. I'm not sure if Illinois have the firepower or the juice to lock in with another duelist. Whereas I look on Calby's side, sure, he has a ton of Psylocke play. Hell is being banned out, but we've seen Calby be able to. Yeah, there's a Bucky. Calby's been able to play stuff like Punisher, has been playing Star-Lord and Wolverine. Like, he's got a lot more variety there. Illinois is going to ban away that Psylocke, rightfully so. I don't want to give Calby, you don't want to give Calby what it is. And I think the Magneto Protect specifically for Incognito, the Magneto player on their team, is really crucial. But I love Emma specifically on this map. A lot of tight corners, a lot of ways you can grab people and punch them into walls. Super, super effective. And taking out that Jeff is smart from Kansas State, because I don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, Jeff and Rocket are like the mains that we've seen from Solisto. I think the biggest issue here in terms of the breadth of heroes that Illinois Institute of Technology have available to them is that they don't have as many as the side of Kansas State University Varsity. So it's a lot easier to ban against them. So if you ban the Magneto, there's two tank players that have two of their mains that aren't really available to them. Yeah, Hulk and Strange for hurt pretty bad, but the Hulk wasn't as effective as we wanted it to be on their side before. So like having that Magneto, they got to make sure that they lock that in. That makes it harder for the duelist side. And yeah, they kind of have to make sure that the Magic is available, because they're not going to play 3 tanks unless they're on defense on that side. So we could see some of that with the Thor coming out for them, but it's just a tough spot to be in for Illinois Institute of Technology. So I mean, I always recommend for them to learn some other heroes as they can. And as you were mentioning, we've seen a lot more of the Star-Lord come up recently. So getting rid of the Magneto, or not the Magneto, the Strange here, basically forces are pretty bad to start on a Hulk unless they want to play the Emma, which they don't have as many hours in. So same bans for the most part, and saves for Illinois Institute of Technology, because that's what their comfort zone is. And on the other side, I mean, yeah, you get rid of the Jeff, which is half of the play or the hero pool for Solisto, and you get rid of the Doctor Strange, and you only have the Hulk available to them because one of them has to play Magneto. So it's just a tough spot to find yourselves in.
Yeah, I think rarely we like to say games are won in pick and ban, but this might be one of those situations where, unfortunately, the Illinois Institute of Technology team, they're kind of backed into a corner because they have to ban certain stuff out. They're also forced to save certain heroes. Like, they've got, like you said, 2 tanks that play a ton of Magneto, so you have to save that, or Kansas State's going to threaten the ban there. They can open up with a Winter Soldier ban, which forces that one kid to save the magic, right? And if they don't have the magic, then they're on to like their 3rd or 4th best hero, which is not nearly enough playtime. I mean, Mori is fine, plays Hela, Punisher, Strange, Bucky, Moon Knight, like, can jam on a couple different duelist heroes, but you can start to see where the Illinois Institute of Technology falters a little bit. And Kalbi, yeah, you've taken his Psylocke away, but has games on Wolverine, has games on Hela, Punisher, Star-Lord. Like, the champion or the hero pools are a lot higher there. So it is a little rough for Illinois Institute. They've got to kind of make with what they can, right? It's kind of like when you have random ingredients in your fridge and you're like, well, what can I really cook up?
Yeah, we'll have to see what they can cook up with it. Again, this definitely just benefits Kansas State University varsity if they even pay a little bit of attention to what they can do with their fan base. They can do whatever they want with it. So Calvi is going to be just a nuisance to that back line as much as, or the front line as much as possible against the Emma, but having that diamond form does make it a lot more difficult for that ruthlessness that we're used to seeing from Wolverine. And having the ban onto the Phoenix, they don't have that extra health gain that they can have on that side with the team up. But doing some good damage, getting some of that ult charge is exactly what they're wanting to do. Mori, they get taken out a little bit early, but they almost built up their own ultimate with the final judgment. So really going to come down to, after this first team fight, who gets their ultimates first and how effective they're going to be with them. As we're seeing Wolverine doing some decent damage, but their teammates are dropping like flies.
Yeah, this is a really good hold from Illinois Institute of Technology here. I don't think D-Bread can lock this group much longer. Does have the ultimate available, can potentially combo it with something like Albi, but Mori on the Punisher is putting a lot of pressure onto Kansas State. And this is where some of these heroes shine a little bit better, because you don't have to constantly move around. It's not domination. You can kind of stick in one lane, you can stick in the backside, and as long as you're putting the pressure down onto these tanks, Kansas State have to try to take space somehow. And Fooly does get a kill here onto Hurt Pretty Bad. Fooly gets another onto Solista, although Hurt Pretty Bad does get rezzed here. Fooly on their best hero and most played. We've seen what he can do before on the Hawkeye, and it is just another clinic. Arrow after arrow after arrow.
And also using the arrows perfectly to make it so the Meteor M is a moot point. It doesn't even get used, and there's a great double here from Calby looking for the triple, but just going to send them away from the objective itself. Getting that first tick. We'll see if there's going to be a portal coming out at the last time, but no, there's not, because the Doctor Strange was banned, remember? So there's no chance for them to even get back on the objectives in these moments. So having that Doctor Strange banned, especially on Convergence and Convoy, just makes it so much more difficult for the other team to re-engage onto the objective. It guarantees you, after you win a team fight, and if the other team doesn't have ultimates available to them in a fast enough way to get to the objective, that you get that objective yourself. So got that first capture point. Now looking for escorting the payload to that second checkpoint. This spot's not as difficult, I would say, as that third where you're going up the staircase to the mausoleum, but still some great looks from Fooly. Got one pick, looking for the second if they can. They had their ultimate come through as well, but they're just pushing them further and further back, making waves with the ground that they are getting themselves.
They're not pushing the cart, though, which I don't really like. I like usually keeping one person on there. My question to you, Audible, when does Fooly legally change his IGN to Legolas? Because, I mean, at this point, it's kind of nasty what he's able to do here. Hurt Pretty Bad, gets scooped up into the back, and D-Bread says, you know what? You're just not allowed to move. Strangling Prison on top. And I just don't think the Illinois Institute of Technology are allowed to even play the second point. They have not gotten a fair shake on this point yet.
They have not been able to do a single thing so far. We saw them hold a little bit on that first objective after the opening point, but now we have the second checkpoint already arrived at the station for Ratatasker. So Fully just clearing the way, sniping out some heads as much as possible, and seeing if they can just make it a bit of a difficult journey for Illinois Institute of Technology to even poke around the corners. And with these long sight lines, it benefits a Hawkeye player so much more so than not, but they pushed up a little bit too far, so they will get a taste of their own medicine. Darkchild comes out from that one kid. They'll try to clear the way from the objective, and what a great combination onto Cosmic Frosty. The Mantis will get vanquished as quick as possible, but a good look from D-Bread combining with the Wolverine. The Darkchild won't last as long as they was hoping to.
You stop them in their tracks.
Yeah, and that's a caster curse if I've ever seen it. Fully does go down here, but if you look at the ultimate economy for Illinois Institute of Technology, they got a couple in the bank. They've got to make it work here. Colby almost gets the drag down, but Maury picks him up onto the back, and it's a 5v6 for the Kansas State University. And right now, Judge Jury Executioner Maury is going to pop it. It's going to be put in response by the Mantis Ultimate. We're going to see Kansas State work their way in meticulously. And it doesn't matter if you've countered D-Bread. Massive Strangling Prison gets answered by the Invisible Boundary. And we're just looking at the rest of Kansas State. Just hide behind Ratataskar. Beautiful movement there. And a nice Wolverine ultimate scoops up multiple members. Fully takes the kill onto Hurt pretty bad, although Solisto is going to res him back. 6v6 so far. Hawkeye ultimate was popped here from Fully. Doesn't really land into any kills, but it keeps the momentum going. Ratataskor has not stopped, only momentarily. Illinois Institute of Technology need to pop something now.
I mean, we do have the Meteor M coming out, but it looks like it glitched somehow. There we go. They do manage to still get the KO, even with the visual glitch going on. A weird spot to be in, but I think that's just from our replay side of things. And we do see D-Bread go tumbling off the map, getting picked into the oblivion. A good double as well from that one kid to slow the roll of Kansas State University varsity, and that's exactly what they need to do. But look how much time is still remaining. A little bit under 2 minutes. 2 ultimates in the bank. Darkchild about to be online for that one kid, and that's what they're waiting for. Trying to see if they can get the back line taken care of. They see the Invisible Woman. They know they can go for their bread and butter combos to take them down. Fully's also one that they need to make sure that is out. They get 1 KO onto them, use the portal from the side. Now they're going to dive right in for the fall through and try to get down the Invisible Woman, but the Invisible Boundary goes out instead. There goes the Psionic Seduction, and they are completely taking out their ultimate. They can't even do anything. Final Judgment instead is popped by Maury, and they're going to be doing some great work with their water guns that are just going to be doing some great damage onto that back line. But again, they are healing themselves perfectly. We saw the Mantis ultimate get popped as well, so that Cosmic Frosty can keep them in the fight. These are perfectly timed support ultimates to make it so that this is staying on this objective.
Colby has swapped over to that Star-Lord as well. Ultimate is almost available. Wait a minute! All right, the shotgun does come out here. Pirate King Momo, is that you? I don't think so. D-Bread is going to swap over to the Emma Frost here, and I think finally he's like, you know what? I don't want to play Groot. It's not fun. They've got too much damage. They're taking down my walls. Let me just swap over to what's meta right now. But Institute of Technology have been doing a good job holding it at the final gate here. Forces out the diamond form from D-Bread. Esticide, though, does have that Meteor M available. We'll see if they're actually able to do anything. It does get popped in response to Calby's Galactic Legend. And I don't think it's going to amount to too much here. Esticide does pick up Cosmic Frosty, but Calby unable to get anything off the Legendary. Fully has popped the Hawkeye ult. Can you actually do anything? Cosmic Yard Amplifier gets absolutely blitzed down. Hurt pretty bad. Finally goes down. Fully picks up 2, but a massive push coming out from Nicole, I think saves the point. Kansas State choke at the last second.
A tough spot to be in. They are still in overtime. Cosmic Frosty cannot hold on to it, and as you mentioned, No Strange, they swap to the Angela to see if they can fly towards saving the objective, but it will be Illinois Institute of Technology holding things down. The only sigh of relief that Kansas State University varsity can have in the back of their minds is that they know how to full hold on this map, and that's going to be where they are going to activate everything that they have in their back pocket to take down Illinois Institute of Technology. There's plenty of times and chances for mistakes leading up towards that 3rd checkpoint, and it's an uphill battle. figuratively and actually realistically, to go up those staircases, as we saw happen, where Illinois Institute of Technology were able to hold things down. So Kansas State University varsity, we saw how strong they were on domination, on holding those objectives. I wouldn't put it past them to full hold here, but we saw last time where it didn't happen and the other team was able to come back in our previous matchup. I mean, this just goes to show that you can expect great things from a domination, but it completely gets thrown out the window once you move to the next game mode.
Yeah, convergence here. Really, I think the biggest test of skill, because you have to kind of understand how to attack a point and then also transition that into, you know, the payload or convoy map here. As we do get a generous tab here. Love that. Fuli had 13 final hits. Calby at 4, so I think we kind of know where the deficit is a little bit, but Calby's going to play something that's going to be a little bit easier on Kansas State, just pumping in that damage, but bold to play the Punisher into a tried and battle-tested Magneto. I'm telling you, this guy's 1,000 games or something like that on Mag. Surely this Punisher pick is going to get punished, no pun intended, by Illinois Institute of Technology.
I mean, we've seen a lot of Punisher plays still work so well because of how long their ultimate lasts, and if they're able to just do enough damage where the Meteor M just explodes in the hands of the Magneto using it. So it's really going to come down to how fast SSI can build up their ultimate and what we get to see from when they time their Meteor M. So that one kid does get a pick. Cosmic Frosty, though, is going to make it just a 0-0 affair because they were able to get that revive, but there is still more picks from SSI. Just decimating the back line. That's 3 that we basically saw from them, and Nicole getting the cleanup there as well. So Kansas State University varsity, they have their work cut out for them. Fully pushed all the way back, and that is the fastest we have seen that capture point taken in quite some time here for Marvel Rivals Collegiate. Illinois Institute of Technology, they're like, hey, we're actually a good team. We've gotten, you know, a +6 map differential for a reason. We haven't gone to many game 5s compared to Kansas State University varsity, who had 2, one where they got reverse swept. So we kind of know our convergence. We kind of know our convoy. Maybe domination isn't our strong suit. We'll see how this next team fight goes, though.
Yeah, love that from Illinois Institute of Technology, and Calby not looking as successful off of the Psylocke. SSI does have that Meteor M available. Hurt pretty bad. Has gotten multiple members seduced in that silent seduction. Both final judgments are coming in. Which Punisher gets which as SSI pops the Meteor M here. Cosmic Frosty, though, has allowed Calby to survive. The overhealth and overshield from the Cosmic Yarn amplifier is what wins them this team fight. Institute Technology said, you know what? If you can pop the Punisher ultimate, if you can pop the Mag, then Kansas State is going to be able to match in kind. D-Bread, though, does have that Emma ultimate available. That one kid does have the Dark Child. I suspect, you know, I'm going to use my crystal ball that we're going to see the silent section use to absolutely shut down that one kid.
Anything you can do, I can do better is what Kansas State University varsity is saying. The legend from Fuli, though, is coming out this time, swapped off of the Hawkeye. Seems they can at least get a pick here, but they're just doing some good damage to push them off the objective, and that's what they really need here and now. That one kid, one hit, but instead they pick up the health back. They're going to actually get away with it because Fuli is wasting a little bit too much time focusing them down, but it might come back to bite them on the back line if they come back for another piece of the pie, trying to slice and dice in the background. But Magneto doing some good work. We see the Emma pushing forward, trying to take out Calby. Good avoiding them as well, using their smoke grenade, getting rid of the Cosmic Yarn amplifier as quickly as it was deployed, and using their own now to deal some ruthless damage against Illinois Institute of Technology. But even then, they are still progressing further and further. One pick, finally, onto that one kid. They were waiting for it. It was foretold. The invisible boundary does get popped from both sides. We have the final judgment coming through from Calby, and we'll see if the damage boost will be enough. They do get at least one pick onto Estes' side. Takes down 2, and there goes 4 members of the other squad. Illinois Institute of Technology, they have their work cut out for them now. They got that first objective, but I talked about it. Many roads of pain ahead towards that final checkpoint.
John Hill as well has that Meteor M up to counter Mori. It's going to be up to Esticide to block the meatball using either his shield or the bubble. But John Hill's waiting in the corner. D-Bread, Psionic Seduction available, grabs that one kid. But right now, Kansas State University have held Illinois Institute of Technology. Esticide is going to pop the Meteor M, gets two. Calby and Kex go down. That's a massive kill. Does get res though, but Mori and the rest of the gang are able to pick up more kills. There might be a final contest as they walk up the hill. Esticide, though, and the rest of the Illinois Institute of Technology are looking to stagger members of Kansas State.
Yeah, they get pushed back all the way past the gate, so an easier pathway towards that second checkpoint, but here comes Psionic Seduction trying to see if they can get anything from D-Bread. We do have the Dark Child from that one kid, but they need to get a pick from it. Galactic Legend comes through. Gianna Hill gets one on the Mori. There comes Fooly with another onto Esticide. The res from Mori does keep them in the fight. Fooly with another. There's a three-piece from Fooly from the Galactic Legend. That is crucial from Kansas State University varsity to lock things down before that second checkpoint. That could be disastrous for Illinois Institute of Technology if they cannot turn things around this next team fight.
Minute and a half left. We are trending towards, like you said, last fight territory. Very well played from Fooly to combine with John Hill to take down Mori in his final judgment. We do see Hurt pretty bad. Does have that silent section available. Kex will probably respond with that invisible barrier. Almost gets the assassination onto Cosmic Frosty, but Fooly, now you've got to get out of dodge. Fooly uses team up with Rocket to get out of there and puts himself back into the fight. Really well played from Kansas State to get the pressure on to the Illinois Institute of Technology. Hurt pretty bad. Needs to use this. Solisto pops the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier on top of the Psionic Seduction, but Calby is able to back out with the help of Kex, and that's going to get taken down immediately. Nicole pops her own invisible boundary. Esticide has Meteor M available. D-Bread pops the Psionic Seduction. Judge, Jury, Executioner plus the Cosmic Yarn Amplifier. I think I've seen this before. It doesn't matter. Esticide drops the 2-ton meatball onto the heads of Kansas State, and we get a pause right there. There's no way. That should be illegal. That should not be allowed.
Oh man, yeah, Fully saying in fight as well. Esticide saying, I don't know if that was some BM. Yeah, reached that saying that's not allowed. They said lag in the fight, so we'll see what's going on with that. But again, I mean, like, yeah, I think the lag was just because there's so many ultimates getting popped at that time. It completely shuts down the momentum that we saw there as well, and I don't know. We'll figure out exactly what's going on in the background with that. If there's going to be a specific like punishment or ruling or just a warning. I think it's just going to be a warning at this point. But again, we don't allow them to do pauses during team fights like that because you have to go through it again because you can't prove that it was just lag during that moment. And in these key moments when you have a pause like that, a break in the momentum, and you know exactly who you're targeting, it's tough for you to get right back into the fray of things. So we'll go through the fight. We'll see if they can pause afterwards. And again, that one kid's just going to kind of sit there because they knew that they won't be able to hold on to it. So Kansas State University varsity will hold it. And as you can see, like, Kansas State University varsity does lock it down because of that. They can't pause at that moment in time, which does ruin the capstone of that victory for Kansas State. But Illinois Institute of Technology, they didn't really have as many members left in the fight there, unfortunately, at the end, and they gave it their all. They did what they could, but that final push and not being able to force any KOs onto Kansas State University varsity once they got pushed back from that second checkpoint is what really ended up doing Illinois Institute of Technology in, especially when Fully was popping off with those Galactic Legends getting multiple hits in the back line, and they couldn't do anything about it. And seeing 21 final hits from them specifically, it was more of an even spread from the other side for Illinois Institute of Technology, 13, 10, 12. But even then, it just goes to show the lethality of this Kansas State roster. And, well, they have to hope that they do not have a scenario where they did in week 1 here, Shibby, where it went to that whole reverse sweep against Maryville Academy. That's what Illinois Institute of Technology need to do to guarantee themselves a spot into the grand finals. Again, getting this 3-0 sweep here for Kansas State, they guarantee themselves a spot in those finals because there's still like 4 teams in the running for the top 4 right now.
Yeah, it's tough, and yeah, that's just an unfortunate thing for Illinois Institute of Technology. You'd love to see that fight actually play out, but yeah, if I'm Kansas State, I'm using the rule book. Like you can't do that. Like that's even if it is lag in any game, whether it's Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, League of Legends, you cannot really pause mid game. Like there are rules against that. You kind of have to wait until the fight's played out. You have to wait until there's a dull moment, and then you can sort the lag out. So yeah, Illinois Institute of Technology, unfortunately, do concede that fight. We did see Solista say, "Yeah, you can have the fight win. I think you're going to win anyway." So whether that's cope or whether that's realism, I like to see that from them. I mean, just kind of accepting the punishment and moving on with it. Kansas State did a really good job at the end. Calby swapping over to that Punisher is really what made the difference. I know we saw the final hits for Fooley 21-10, but prior to that swap, it was like 13-4. Calby only had 4 final hits, so getting those extra 6 on top of putting the pressure on into Illinois Institute of Technology, forcing out the Magneto ultimate multiple times, not always guaranteeing the kill, but just forcing it out and comboing it up with that Rocket ultimate. That's a very, very popular combo that's existed since the Overshield was introduced. And now that Rocket has a 40% damage boost,
is nuts.
Yeah. It's disgusting. And so Calby putting in the work that he needed to do with Fooley cleaning up a lot of those kills. That's typically the interaction or the synergy that we've seen. Calby is always picking up a lot of damage, and Fooley is the one confirming and getting those final hits. It's a very nice situation from Kansas State University. Like you said, they're up 2-0. They do have the ability to close this out immediately and send us on our ways here.
Will it happen? I mean, that was a little close for comfort towards the end of there.
Yes,
but
yes.
I think the big thing, too, as you mentioned with the Punisher, is that they were just destroying those amplifiers so quickly that they didn't even last long enough to be effective for the side of Illinois Institute of Technology. So a tough spot for them to find themselves in that scenario. And again, they still can potentially make it in even if they lose here in a 3-0 sweep, because they would technically be tied with Kettering University based on the... Actually, no, they would be worse off than Kettering University because they don't have as many map wins based on that. So they need to go to 5 to try and guarantee themselves a spot in the top 4. Again, both these teams technically in the top 4. Cumberland can get a spot there if they do win their series, and Illinois Institute of Technology lose theirs here in a big enough fashion. So we'll see what happens there specifically, but almost basically locked in for both these teams based on the results that we've had this week so far. But even then, giving it their all, trying to see what they could do. There's still a lot of action to go, Shibby. But because we've had our 2 maps in our best of 5, we're going to head over to a break. We'll be back after this.
Nothing cuts quite like a memory, especially one that you're trying to forget. But I can't find the energy to rewind and reset. I know you don't wanna be used, but you use me to build up. You build up to break me down.
It all comes down to this. These teams pretty much secured at this point in terms of making it into the playoffs, but seeding matters a lot in these specific divisions. You want to make sure that you have the best odds to make it the distance and claim the top prize in each of your competitions. So basically securing the second seed if either of these teams come out on top. So they want to make sure that they give it their all here and now. And we do have a substitute coming in from the Illinois Institute of Technology, giving them a little bit more breathing room and wiggle room in terms of composition. Baby Val is in for hurt pretty bad. GM3, Celestial 3 peak on their side of things as a Vanguard, and they have a little bit more that they can do on a Venom in this current meta compared to the Hulk that we've seen from hurt pretty bad due to the constant Doctor Strange bans that we have seen.
Yeah, I like the swap out, but we'll see. Again, like the hero pool is different, but the amount of heroes they play is it's about the same there, right? Venom, Strange, Mag is kind of the three
Idris
tanks.
Elba.
Oh my god, yeah, our favorite map. Really, it's our favorite map. But this is again one of those situations. I've seen this before. Oh, 2-0, 2-0, and then boom, Illinois State Technology could be it. You never know here. Kansas State University in a similar spot. They're going to want to lock this up in a 3-0 fashion. Yggdrasil Path going to be our convoy map of the day. Yeah, again, it is. The last map was not as bad of a hero pool issue, but again, we kind of saw Kalbi and Fuli just kind of lock in a little bit and be able to swap around. Fuli was like, all right, you know what? I'm not going to play the Hawkeye anymore. I don't need it. Let me swap over the Star-Lord, who isn't even in his top played, by the way. Like, it's Hawkeye, Strange, Hela, Cloak, and then this season in Season 4, he's been playing a lot of Hela and Hawkeye, and oddly enough, a little bit of Black Widow mixed into there, so we might be able to see that. So, yeah, I just think, although the ban strategy should change a little bit from Kansas State's side, maybe they're going to opt in for a Venom ban instead of a Strange. Yeah, Illinois Institute of Technology still has to save that Magneto.
Every time, because Magneto is like the hero that's played by Incognito, and I don't think they're gonna leave that one kid available on the Bucky because of how good Bucky in general is. And if you have a Bucky main, then it's like a whole nother level. The stonks go up only for that. So we'll see what they can do. The Emma save, not too surprised. That does allow them to play Emma Mag. It worked really well for Kansas State University varsity on their side of things too. The Jeff ban comes out again. I think everything's going to stay the same for their side, even if the Venom is available. Just not having a Doctor Strange at all has worked out well enough so that they don't have to worry about those portals back onto the objective. And I think that's been the biggest thing that's been missing from Illinois Institute of Technology is that ability to recontest. I think it might be a better option for them to go for the Doctor Strange save at this point, just so you have it available to you. Right? But yeah, that's the tough spot because then that one kid doesn't have their magic with them. So it just really comes down to do they want to prioritize the utility usage and just how good Doctor Strange is in general, or if they want to make sure that that one kid can do what they can, and that's what they're going to focus on because they know they have to get those eliminations regardless. So making sure that at least one of your duelists has one of their mains, and you don't have to play a triple tank lineup with Thor, who's not the greatest, but still decent out there, and you don't really have any Angela players on your side either, so you don't even have the team up to work with. So probably Doctor Strange ban coming out here, unless they want to ban the Venom so that they have the Strange available to them to portal back onto the point. We'll see what they go for on this one, taking a little bit more time to go for, but it is going to be the Doctor Strange, and it makes sense. Keep it the same.
Yeah, I mean, force Illinois to beat you, right, on the Venom. Like, okay, you swapped your tank out. Is he the difference maker? Do you know what I mean? Now, Venom obviously pairs a lot better with Magic in that dive scenario.
True.
And yeah, the Hela is going to have to be respect banned away from Kansas State simply because Fuli is absolutely lethal, as well as Shelby. Both of them are Hela players, right? So you just got to take that away so you don't get Hela Namord and just lose the map off of that. Again, it's rare to say that games are won or lost in drafts, but it feels like Illinois Institute of Technology, you know what you're going to face. They can't throw you a curveball, which I think is super detrimental in hero shooters and Marvel Rivals specifically. The ability to adapt, the ability to pick what is needed in those certain situations. I think that's highly important at the highest levels. And just Illinois, I don't think they have the ability to do that as well as Kansas State University, right? Like Kansas State, they've got relatively deep bags across the board.
Going into the Ignite Grand Finals, the reason, or part of the reason why Virtus Pro was so good and won is because they're deep hero pool. Because you could ban whatever you want against them. They'll just play whatever they want because they know every hero for their specific role or for multiple roles if they're going to go triple, or if they're going to go just triple support on their side of things. So like, it's not as effective, and they know exactly when they can save the ones that they want, like Captain America. Captain America would be pretty decent too if you're going with the magic for that dive as well. So not seeing that being an option for them is interesting, and I think a lot of players don't focus as much on Cap compared to Venom, just because it's a thankless job to play Captain America at this rank. So we'll see what they could do on the Venom this time. All eyes on Baby Val as they drop in and frag out as best they can. They do get stunned a little bit and choke slam to the ground, so not exactly what they wanted to see. Quickly taken out by Calby, who's on the Venom, or not the Venom, excuse me, the Wolverine, which is a great counter to Venom.
Yeah, I mean, they also can expect what's going to happen here. But that one kid is looking for the elimination onto a support here, and he's creeping around right now. But so far, Kansas State University have gotten it around that first bend. Mori, though, is going to pop that hand of Conchu. Unfortunately, does not pick up anybody. Deep Red takes him down. And that one kid has been going sightseeing. I haven't actually seen them attack anyone just yet.
I mean, they've been attacked more than they've really done damage to others. Baby Bao, we'll see if they can get involved in the fight as well, but they're also just going towards that back line, and really just in odd spots is the Illinois Institute of Technology. Yeah, they're just attacking the scenery at this point in time, so flanking fully around. I don't know, maybe they're just sightseeing. They know that they've not done as well as they would like to. I mean, Baby Bao taking the longest route possible to get back on the objective, to get them off their trail, maybe, who knows. But a weird reset is all I'll say on this one. Kansas State University varsity just having a time with the mountain goats carrying their payload forward, just sightseeing themselves and waiting for this dive in from Baby Ball, who's been taking their precious time, waiting for their ultimate to charge up, which might be their strategy there. And already all the way towards that second checkpoint is the rest of the team of the Kansas State University varsity, and Baby Ball still has not dived in. This is wild.
Baby Ball?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Woo! You gotta dive in, and as soon as he dives in, Baby Ball is gonna go out, and the Wolverine is there. And finally, we get the semblances of a team. Estes side is gonna be able to take out Cosmic Frosty with that Meteor M. So Listo and Nicole, though, they do the double support ultimate. That one kid, though, is gonna drop the hammer onto Kansas State, and Mori as well on that final judgment. Maybe we just don't know what we're talking about. Baby Ball sets up the most elite flanks, the longest delayed gratification
Patience,
there, Baby
for
Ball.
sure.
Yeah, patience is a virtue, and Baby Ball has it in spades. But Kansas State, they're looking mighty fine here. Ultimate economy, Illinois State uses 5 for that team fight win. Surely Kansas State can just overwhelm them. As Baby Ball, this guy's patient. If nothing else, the best diver here, as we are going to see the slam in. Maybe the ultimate does come down, does get slapped, has the tendrils out, plus the Feast of the Abyss, and that's actually not going to get anybody. Calby picks up 3 off the ultimate, scoops and dunks multiple members of the Illinois Institute of Technology. And that's what's going to get them that second point. Mind you, Dr. Strange was banned out. It's not available. Maybe I lied. Baby Ball is here, and he's dead.
Yeah, he's gonna just sightsee again and be like, hey guys, I'm here, I exist. I attacked you guys once and it was a cool team fight for a second, and then I haven't really done much afterwards, and that's exactly why they're swapping off of the Venom. They got their clip. You know, we weren't as hyped for it as we could have been because it was unexpected with how long that they waited, but you know what is expected is Kansas State University varsity just walking them down. They have not had much to deal with in terms of opposition for the Vanguards. They had Estes side get a Meteor M once, and then Baby Val just kind of been there. So we'll see what they can do now. And D-Bread still staying alive on their main, but they do go down before they can use the Strangling Prison, which is massive.
Yeah, and Baby Ball is swapped over to the Emma. Mori pops the shotgun out, and unfortunately looking for the 1v1 onto Fuli. Oh my god, you live with a sliver of HP. Fuli is taking command of the top side, and as I say that, that one kid comes in. My bad, bro. Sorry for the caster curse here. But looks like Kansas State are still willing to come in and try to contest the state. Illinois Institute of Technology gets hit with a massive Strangling Prison. Multiple members are getting locked up. The invisible boundary is going to keep Illinois Institute of Technology alive for now. Mori has the final judgment available. No Magneto ultimate on the side of Kansas State means that it should be relatively free. But we do see Cosmic Frosty able to respond with it on that Mantis ultimate if they need to. Will it be Kex first, though? That's the question. Guys, you've got to contest the cart. There's a wall of pain. I don't know if they can do it.
That was a bit of a wasted Phoenix ult, so I am worried about that. Mori will do what they can, but nobody getting on the objective again. Another C9, baby! But is it a C9 if they'd never touched the point? I don't know. Illinois Institute of Technology gives them a free 3 points and 2 minutes and 41 seconds. I don't know. This is just the weirdest game of Convoy I have seen in some time. Solisto trying to stay alive as best they can, getting targeted a lot too by the other side, and Baby Val subbing in and existing. I guess it's like all we can really say about it. It's just a tough spot for them to find themselves, and the effectiveness not quite there as they would like to on the Venom, and the amount of time that they had spent outside of the fights is really what did them in, because yeah, you know, you're building up your ultimate with time, waiting things out, and you can go for like one dive in, but after that you're just giving up so much space to the other team where you don't have enough room to work with to turn things around. And that's why there's like half of the regulation time typically available to Kansas State University varsity if it does go to an overtime scenario. So like Illinois Institute of Technology, they have to just destroy, decimate the competition and make them wish they did not exist to come out on top here, but we'll see what happens.
Battle starts in 5, 4,
Illinois Institute of Technology, they've got to at least try to force it into an overtime scenario. Kansas State, though, seeing some heroes that we haven't seen in a little bit. Loki being piloted by Cosmic Frosty is a 3-tank, 3-support composition. And this is something we saw kind of a lot last season. It was essentially the double res into the Luna Snow, into multiple moments of invulnerability. I think we actually casted a game where both teams were running this similar composition. I actually think it was Kansas State who ran this composition.
It was, yeah, them against Maryville, and they actually struggled with it because they kept getting out-fragged a couple times more than they would have liked to. But I feel like right now against this Illinois Institute of Technology team, they're not too worried. Yes, D-Bread does go down, but they still have 2 backup tanks available for them, and Baby Val doing a lot more than they did in the previous attacking side of things. Being on the Emma, looking really solid against the back line of Kansas State University varsity. So maybe they're just getting them into a false sense of security. I don't know, but even then, Kansas State University varsity, they still have plenty of time to stop this before it even gets to that first checkpoint. Even without a portal, plenty of time to get back there, because there was so much time still wasted getting that first team fight win.
Yeah, I just don't love D-Bread on this group. The walls are basically paper mache with Phoenix and Punisher there to break them down consistently. And that one kid does have the ultimate available. Side is going to opt in to pop their Meteor M and takes down Fuli even through the Soul Bond. Nice invisible boundary coming out from Solisto. And here comes the Karmic Retribution. That's the real one from Fuli. Gets multiple members back. That's going to then in turn cause Kalbi to spam the Luna Snow ultimate. But final judgment is here. It's going to look to mow down Kansas State University. And that it does. We did see the copy coming out from Cosmic Frosty. Did they get the Karmic Retribution though? No way! John Hill is the lone man standing on Kansas State University, and it's not enough. I don't love this 3-support composition and this 3-tank composition. And Kansas says, you know what? This is lame.
Yeah, they realize it's not working and they need to change things fast, and that's exactly what they do. They wait a couple seconds in the spawn and then go back for the fight. They do kidnap the Magneto, but the Emma is there doing some great work with their diamond form. Fully back onto the Hawkeye now to try and see if they can click some heads, and this sightlines on the second objective makes it really easy for them to do just that. They take down Baby Ball on the back line. Now they're going to take out another one in Dat One Kid, see if they can get a triple, baby, but no, won't be so easy. Gian Hill takes credit for it instead onto Mori. But back into business is what we're witnessing from Kansas State University varsity. But can they hold it?
I think 90% of the people watching this get it's the triple baby. I think it's the sad part. Here's Deep Red. He's taking some damage here. Fooly can actually shred tanks relatively well here on that Hawkeye. A couple charged headshots, and your tank is already at 25% HP here. Fooly's gonna pop the ultimate here. He's gonna go into sicko mode, as unfortunately he's gonna get taken down. Mori comes up with the kill, and this is the first Meteor M we saw whiff from SSI this round. That One Kid though is going to pop the Phoenix ultimate. Does not land on anybody. It gets kind of like responded by Cosmic Frosty. Between both worlds is going to be popped. Kex is going to pop the invisible boundary on top of Solistos because Mori drops the hand of Khonshu. Psionic Seduction coming in from Baby Ball has gotten multiple members, but on top of that, Dean Nicole is going to pop there between both worlds, which I think is going to guarantee, hopefully, the fight win for the Illinois Institute of Technology, if not some space here. But Colby, look on the back end, has the Wolverine ultimate available. Understands that he does need to get out here. Passive does get popped. And a nice retreat from Kansas State to stabilize and hopefully win this next team fight, because a lot of ultimates were dumped on the side of Illinois.
Yeah, looking for this last stand to be really the piece de resistance for the squad. They didn't get the kidnap that they wanted, but they do get the drop down. There's the triple from D-Bread, a quad for him as well. A combination between both of them to make sure that they decimate the ranks of the Illinois Institute of Technology's back line, front line, and the mid. None of it's going to remain on the objective now. They're going to be twerking it right onto the point for D-Bread there. Gotta love it, the way that the people have come up with that for every single hero in this game. But even then, 140 on the clock now here. Shibby, can Illinois Institute of Technology win this next team fight? They have a couple of ultimates available to them and get rid of those root walls pretty quickly as well. That One Kid, I have all eyes on them. See what they can do with the Phoenix ult.
Really though, just taking pot shots in the back, and unfortunately the Illinois Institute of Technology isn't even going to allow to play this next team fight. It wasn't really a team fight, if anything. Like you said, crucial picks coming out on the side of Kansas State, and they've settled into a composition that I think will hold Illinois here, barring a couple misplays. Although 4 ultimates on the side of Illinois. Mori, specifically hand of Khonshu available. Estes side, potentially looking for a massive Meteor M. Solisto has the invisible boundary. I need to see that One Kid, like you mentioned, get something done here. Those Phoenix ultimates have not been good enough, but look at Mori onto the backside. He's lurking, looking for the hand of Khonshu onto the back line. Does anybody notice him? He gets frozen down! And let's see if Mori can get himself out. He's just gonna get destroyed by the supports. Avert your eyes. That's embarrassing.
Oh, not exactly the way you want to see things go down, but still a little bit under 30 seconds remaining. Another snipe coming through from Fooly onto Nicole. Didn't really see it coming, unfortunately, there. So will be held for now. A couple ultimates available for both teams, though. Psionic Seduction going through, try and see if they can root out Fooly. They do have the Hunter Sight available to them pretty soon, but still somehow glitched through the woodwork as it was reassembling itself. And Meteor M comes through. They need a big hit here. Trying to see if they can take out the back line. They do get one on to Kex. There was another taken out as well, but Mori no longer on the field. They will be sniped away by Fooly. They have just been an assassin with this Hunter's bow, and they cannot be stopped, but they're getting pushed back. Overtime is activated, and there's some more progress being made by Illinois Institute of Technology, but they only have 1 ultimate available.
That's the side. specifically needs to be the hero here on this Magneto. Needs to bubble Mori here when he popped that final judgment. Calby, though, has found multiple scoops, has found multiple amazing Wolverine ultimates, and that's another one. Maybe it doesn't get the multi-kill that's needed as the bubble comes in. Here comes the Punisher ultimate. The dunk misses. John Hill isn't able to do anything but Foley, the hero of Kansas State, takes down multiple members, pops the Hunter's Mark, and absolutely decimates the Illinois Institute of Technology.
Kansas State University varsity is not making the same mistake again that they did at the start of the semester. No reverse sweeps in their future, only sweeps from here on out to guarantee themselves the second seed going into the Division II playoffs from their brackets. A clinical affair from them, and they are just going to be graduating from the regular season with their doctorates in the ban and protect phase. They were able to just keep them boxed out of every single option that Illinois Institute of Technology wanted to work with and their comfort picks, and left them with little remaining that they could fall back upon. And really just goes to show that if you don't have a big enough hero pool to work with, you're not going to be playing as many heroes as you would like in these scenarios against teams who have done their homework. And this level of competition, you can't afford to be put in that odd spot. So we saw them try to change things up with the baby ball swap in against their opponents there, but instead, Illinois Institute of Technology, it just didn't work out well enough for them. Kansas State University varsity showcasing their skill, their massive hero pools that they could select from. We got to see Hawkeye, we got to see, the Star-Lord there specifically on their side too, with how strong they were on that. The Psylocke at the start as well, forcing that ban from the get-go, and it still just did not prove to be enough for Illinois. So unfortunate for them. Kansas State, though, congrats. You guys deserve your flowers for that victory in the 3-0 sweep, and we'll see both of these teams in the playoffs based on the game differential.
Yeah, both of these teams lock their spots into the playoffs. I think the big thing for the Illinois Institute of Technology, maybe pick up a couple heroes here and there on the backside, because if you're already struggling with that in the regular season, I mean, playoffs is best of 5. I believe Grands is best of 7. That's where your hero pool definitely gets tested here. So I highly recommend Illinois Institute of Technology. Good showing. They had some bright moments here and there, even on the heroes that they were kind of, I'm going to say forced to pick, but definitely figure out what you can do. Don't be as easily bannable. Kansas State University, I mean, they locked their spot. They look like a well-oiled machine. Calby maybe has some hero pool issues off of that Psylocke. Did look fine on the Punisher, but definitely Foley has been the carry of this team. And I think once a team figures out how to handle him, it's going to be up to Calby to kind of pick up that slack. Sure, if Hawkeye and Psylocke both get through the ban phase, then, I mean, that's just terrible prep from the enemy team. But realistically, I need to see, I think, Calby step it up a little bit more into the playoffs, because he is somebody that I think can be exploited just a little bit.
Yeah, so we'll see what they can do going forward into those playoffs. There's still a lot more results to come through, so we'll have those finalized before the start of those playoffs themselves. But it's been a great time to see exactly how these teams could rise to the challenge, get the reverse sweep to force their way into the playoffs for our first series, then close things out dominantly in the case of Kansas State University varsity. But I've been Bottle. We've had Shibby here in the foreground. We've had Chippy and Reachstat helping us out on production. This week, we will also have Rocket League and CS2 tomorrow, League of Legends on Thursday, and Overwatch 2 on Friday. But big thanks to our sponsors for making this all possible, Extron, Wenzel's, and My Blue Light. Without them, this would not be a possibility. But with all that said, thank you for tuning in to the final day of the regular season for Collegiate Marvel Rivals. We'll see you during the playoffs in just a bit.